cannot.
These are my conversations. I've done cocaine for 8 hours straight too, but it just led it to 8 more hours of doing cocaine and another trip to the ATM. But
I'll tell you about my Uber driver story.
well, yeah, hold off. Let's get an intro in here first. We have Jason Dormire. You're a St. Louis comedian, right? You're from St. Louis?
I'm from about 2 hours north here, Clayton, Illinois.
Clayton, Illinois. So
Yep.
Not Clayton, Missouri, where them
Nope.
rich snobs. I'm just kidding.
Nope, not that place. A very small, much poorer community.
Well, you have that. Is it you that talks about Hannibal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
See, I worked out by there. I just switched builders.
Okay.
And I always see that Hannibal exit sign, and I think Jason Dormire.
Yep. No, I really overdid it with that intro, or that was like an opener. Like that was the first decent opener I came up with. So I rode that shit for like 6 months, because Hannibal's literally like I'm not fucking from Hannibal, but it's the closest city anybody might know. Like the closest city I would usually say is Quincy, but most people do not know Quincy, Illinois.
Yeah. I don't know Quincy.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be the Hannibal comedian forever because I did that for so long.
Well, how long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it a year and about 3 months. It was a year in August.
I thought I saw you when you first started, because I've been going, like, I just hit my year on the 4th, but as I tell everybody, John Maddie started 7 years ago. Made me jealous. And I used to always go watch him. He wasn't that good when he first started, his first year. And then me and her were getting into the relationship. They shut down the Funny Bone at the Valley Park, but I was living there, so I could just ride my bike up there and get fucking hammered at the Funny Bone, watch the open mics and everything. And I had written then, I had here and there, but not like consistently. And then I seen John Maddie like last year, again. And he just blew the fucking doors off the place.
Yeah.
And I was so inspired. I was like, all right. So like for 2 years straight. Well, no, it was 2 years ago. I seen him at it was like a rap battle competition, but they had to dress up as the person they were battling. They had to rap like and dress up like. So they had to like So I mean, John was doing comedy through the whole thing, and I had started going. So I watched. I'm pretty sure I watched your first. Maybe was it at the Funny Bone?
My first time was an improv shop.
Oh, improv. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the one I have not hit out of all of them.
Yeah, it hasn't been open at all. Like I don't even know. I haven't heard anything about them. Like I know they did carry out for a little while, but I don't know if they ever had anything inside this whole time.
Yeah, I either wanted to have really good jokes before I went there, or a lot of money. So they were like, just bring him back. He tips good. But I hear the improv's it's where the higher end of the comedy kind of talent is that goes there every night. I mean, was it Wednesday nights?
It was Monday nights.
Monday nights?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was it that ran that one?
Rafe and Bobby.
Yeah, okay.
Rafe Williams and Bobby
Rafe.
Jaycox.
Yeah, because Rafe's got a whole album out, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right on. Yeah, he's funny. He's pretty. This is not my comedy, but he's funny.
Right.
He's good. I'm
Yeah,
not
he's
taking
good.
nothing away from him. I'm into the dark. I want somebody to get pissed off and walk out of the show. Then that's my comedian. Like Adam Thatcher or whatever.
Adam Thacker, yeah.
Actually,
I love
love
Adam.
that song.
I love Adam.
I love following him. A lot of people are like, I read following him. I'm like, no, that gives me my line. That tells me how far I can go with it.
Yeah, he's a good. You'll find out exactly where it is.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I really like Mike Radcliffe.
I like Mike a lot.
He has some nights that is just his timing, everything is perfect,
Mhm.
man. And then there's some nights that you can tell he's tired because he's one of them high energy comics.
Right.
You know, he comes on and he's just if he's tired, don't even go. So you started right around the same time as Blodgett.
Yeah, like I remember he started like a month or two after, and I remember his first time at the Funny Bone, he went up there and he was like, kind of like having a little mini panic attack. Like
Yeah, I was there for that one.
Yeah.
He he kind of turned around for a second and then he came back and he was like, did the little And he leaned into it, and he owned that weirdness, that awkward, nervous. That's his shit.
Right. Yeah, and then he crushed for 3 minutes. We were like, this isn't your first time. Fuck you. You're bullshitting us right now to get extra sympathy laughs.
Yeah, just to get on.
Yeah,
You're lying.
he did. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and he writes consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I get pages. What do you think about this joke? Like, dude, I'm a one-liner. I could have told my joke. I've got to read your novel. It was good. You're a good writer.
Right.
Sometimes it pisses me off because I'm like, fucking asshole.
Yeah, I want to do that premise someday, dick.
Yeah, well, I started off with storytelling, and it's just not my thing. Here and every now and then, like last night, I did a little bit of my old storytelling set. Like, I wrote a whole 10-minute set for Black History Month. I did a little piece of that, because I was born and raised in pretty much a predominantly black family. It was just me and my mom were the pinkest two in the group. So I learned real quick that they were far superior than us in about everything, besides water sports, school shootings. We hold that.
We gotta keep something.
And Karens, we've got Karens. Our women, they can file a complaint. So Nicole, did you just start? I believe.
On and off for 5 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but definitely off for more than anything.
She's the vet in the room then.
Mm-hmm.
So what got you into it?
I am terrified of being on stage, and I like to tell jokes though, and I like to tell jokes that make people uncomfortable. And as a woman, I like to tell jokes that speak to women and moms and people who love drugs.
Hey, I'm an enthusiast myself on the drugs. I've done a lot. No,
I thought you were a mom enthusiast.
Oh, I like them too. Don't get me wrong. A pregnant woman, it's just a fuck trophy in the oven, dog.
I made so much money when I was knocked up.
Yeah, that's a thing. My buddy Matt, I got a buddy Matt, and that's like a pregnant woman. That's what gets him off the chain. He really enjoys that. All right, that's what it is. Let's get this just like that. Yeah.
See, that's the one thing I never mastered, was speaking into the mic.
Yeah.
5 years.
I still have issues with it. I'll still be like, when I look around, you gotta keep it with you. And I like it. This one I'm good because I can just do all this bullshit.
I borrowed his karaoke mic to practice at my house.
I've got mine right under there. I was actually gonna take it out to when the COVID first happened, to Home Depot in the morning because the lines were so long. And at the mall, I was like, I know where I could get a good crowd and get me a quick vibe, but no one wanted to go with me. So, oh well. No one had the balls. Which I didn't, to go do it by myself. I was like, no, I'm not gonna be that guy.
You'd be one of those two guys, but not that guy.
Yeah, definitely. So, let's go ahead and get this out there. Nicole and I, we've had some disagreements, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, just disagreements. It's never gotten ugly.
No.
No, if it's gotten, I usually don't let it go ugly. I just usually say what I gotta say and leave. And it's usually when I detox. Because as a drug enthusiast, I'm a firm believer you should take as long as you can off. Sugar, caffeine, all of it. And that helps them receptors in the brain kind of just get recharged. It's really boring the first 2 days, but you go work out after those first 2 days, or you go get on stage, and it's better than any drug out there. Drugs, that's what they do. They push out that pleasure, the dopamine and the serotonins and all that other bullshit that goes on into the brain. And I watched an infographic on YouTube one day or something, and it really spoke. I was like, that makes sense. And I did it, and it worked. The first day sucks because they tell you just to read a book, and I do audiobooks. I couldn't find anything that interested me without pot. I was like, this just sucks. But yeah, I even strike with the herb and cigarettes as long as I can. And that's when I get that fuck it. fuck you, fuck this, fuck that. But I'm willing to admit it every time. I'm a moron. Let's get this up front. Okay, I dropped out of college. I was a surfer hippie that fucking lived in a tent for like 2 years. You know, everything I have now is strictly because of my wife. She knows how to take my check every week. She's like, he makes good money. He just spends it all on stupid shit.
Like, I can direct this somewhere positive.
She's like, I get my 401k up there. No, she's the one that got me on track, which is funny because I went to school for economics and finance to be a stockbroker.
That makes sense.
I'm really into like trading and the finances and the market and everything like that. And but I'm horrible with managing my money. You gotta have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot to trade. I still trade today, but if you don't got something, you don't got a little bit of, you know, like I've got $50 in one account, which is nothing. It's just an account I get a bunch of free shares every time someone watches a YouTube video and clicks the link. They'll send me like a $3 share or sometimes a $200 share, and it's pretty nice. And I'll trade with that. And I just bought Bitcoin because that shit is off the chain right now. It's up like 1,000%. So.
Yeah, I've never gotten into cryptos. Like, I do stocks a little bit. Like, I'd never really done stocks before this year, but like when the pandemic hit, like everything, the entire market went down like 50%. I'm like, that'll probably improve. So that was like, I bought in a little then, and it's gone pretty well.
Yeah, well, it hit a little bit. I mean, we all thought it was going to crash much more. I thought it was going to crash in the last election when Hillary and Trump. I was like, who wants to be president? We were all in a 10-year long bull market, which has never happened. Usually it's 4 to 7. You get like a 4-year to 7-year uptrending. Like you have record highs, and then it corrects itself because everything gets overpriced. Right. Everything's overvalued. And so it's got to correct itself. It hasn't corrected itself. And it's we've just continued. And now we're in like 13, 14-year bull market. It's never been done in history. Last time the record long one like that shortly followed the crash of the economy to inflation like a motherfucker, where barrel fulls of money would only buy a loaf of bread. They had to make a $10,000 mark in a note just to you know. And then Hitler came along.
This is why I suggest, excuse me, a barter economy. Like, fuck money, just barter everything. Like, beginning of the pandemic, I traded potatoes for weed.
That is you might have just earned the Hustler Card of the Year. Like, oh shit.
I mean, I had them, the store was out, we just did a trade, everyone took care of each other. I think it's actually...
I'm gonna need that connect, because you know how much property I have out here? You know how many potatoes I can put down?
But no, that's one thing, like, I don't know a lot about finances, so honestly, that whole conversation, to be honest, don't know anything about finances, but I do know that people can take care of each other without money, and that is what I truly believe.
Yes, I am a firm, actually, deep down inside, I believe that in 2021, we have the technology, the abilities, and the means to make sure there isn't a hungry, cold, hot, non-sheltered person out there. We can make sure that everybody has clean water and some bread in their stomach and a roof over their head easily. We could do it with one state probably, and we just don't. But I like the bargaining idea because I do pretty well. People want houses, people want somewhere to live, so I'm like, hey dog, you know.
I have things that are very valuable in that situation, so I encourage this.
Yeah, that's. I've always been money. I've hated money for a long time, but I also loved it. I've always wanted it. I just wanted to know what it was like. I grew up poor, not like, I mean, basement apartment, shittiest neighborhood of town, but my neighbor's kid was going hungry at night. We weren't going hungry, but we were living right next to each other. So I don't ever want to put my parents, like, say they didn't feed us, because they made sure we had clothes and food every night. It may have been the same chicken and dumplings that whole fucking week, but we had food. And
I need you to call my son and tell him this shit, okay?
And I just, well, yeah, you won't realize it until you're older. When I had a lot of resentment against my parents and the money thing. Like, for a long time, I used to not like people with money just because they had money, because I grew up with parents like that. They were poor, and they'd see somebody that was rich, or like someone cut them off in a Beamer, and they'd be like, oh, motherfucker with all his money thinks he owns the road. No, he just probably didn't see you. He just probably wasn't paying attention because he was on his phone making money. And I had to get rid of that. I had to reprogram myself for the longest time. And I didn't really know nothing about money. And that's what got me in trouble the most, actually. It's because once I learned about it from selling Coke, I was like, this is what it's like. Like, I walked out of the bar the first time with $1,000 in my pocket. Like, you know, nothing. I'd never seen $1,000 in one day. The most I had made was $500 a week. And I was addicted to it. And I definitely understand the game. And I went to college to play the game, but it is a game. And there is no reason for people to go hungry. Even people that can't barter, they should still be taken care of. Like, even if you have nothing. Besides, like, the genetic deforms, I just think we should kill them at babies. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Although all the other animals in the kingdom do that.
They do.
Yeah. You can't admit you were.
We have reasoning.
Yeah.
Compassion.
You can't admit you were serious about that until hour 2 of the podcast. You were just like, actually, I was called back to that. I was kind of serious.
No, I wouldn't even have an abortion. Not another one. I've never had an abortion. I've always wore condoms. We're actually working right now for a baby.
Oh,
Taking
congrats.
my pills. She wanted a pearl necklace, baby. She gave me these pills. I'm filling cups, dog. Put this in the freezer.
Don't you guys already have kids?
No.
Yeah, we don't have kids.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we have the little bit that we have, or we'd be in the same situation as everybody else, because they're expensive. But it was probably, you have kids, correct?
Yeah.
How old did you have them?
20 when my first was born.
Okay, how old are they?
13 and 6.
So 13 can watch the 6-year-old, and mom can go out and party. See, because you had them
Yeah.
young. And how old, what are you now? You're about
33.
33. Look at you, out back at the party scene with a better head on your shoulders.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
I would not recommend you guys have a baby. I will talk to her if you want me to.
No, she's ready. She works with kids every day. She works at the Sweet and Sassy at West County Mall, and she runs that place. And she's been there for like 13 years or some shit.
But like the cool part is though, she can like go home to no children.
Exactly, and that's been the biggest thing. That's why we've just been holding off. And we wanted to be financially ready, and now I just don't have an excuse to put it off. Just don't have an excuse, and I'm not one to
Say
not
no
have
to going
sex.
raw.
Yeah. Hey babe, huh? Oh, your temperature's up? Let me call you back, dog.
Are we gonna have to pause the podcast for that?
No. I think it's period week. I'm kidding. I don't know our schedule. I think you should, though, as a husband, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I would pause the podcast. It would be kind of rude not to.
No, we can.
We can wait.
I'm an open book. You know, I mean, that's the best show. I mean, that's gonna give me the most clicks. Let's be honest. You know how many views we're gonna get? They might pull me off of YouTube, but there's Pornhub, and they make a lot of money on that. So, Jason, where did you learn to play basketball?
I played high school basketball like all the way through. Like I played when I was a kid and everything. Like, so yeah, I just played a lot. And then honestly, I played a lot more once I got to college. And once there were pickup games like at the rec available, like just pretty much at any time, any day of the week, I played like 3 or 4 times a week most of the time.
Which rec?
SIUE.
Yeah.
Do you know a good like indoor?
There's one right there in Arnold, the Arnold Rec.
Okay.
There's the rec center, and then there's also the Baptist Church. Right off of 141, the Pasta House used to be. Right across the street's that big church up on the hill.
Okay.
They do. Actually, one of my old coaches from the city, Ezra, runs that thing now. He's an old black guy with real white hair, and he's all muscular. He's really loud, and obnoxious, but he's a good guy, and they run some good games. You could run in there for sure. Yeah. I was shocked. I judged you by your color. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, this guy ain't got no pigment.
No, I get it. I expect that, and I enjoy that.
This is the same thing. I'll put that away. Let's light this doobster up.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
And don't worry, my wife just got tested.
Isn't it nice to have like the person you're with getting tested so you don't have to, but you know if you've got it?
This whole time this has gone down, I haven't had to get tested because either she's had to get tested throughout work and people at work with her, have that positive.
With us. We actually had it, so like we're immune for the next. I think it's like 30 days.
So we're about done, actually.
Well, yeah. What about the new strain that's out there? That's supposedly this new contagious strain. Have you all seen or heard anything about that?
A little bit. I saw it was in Chicago today or yesterday.
So you're a nurse.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, because I asked my buddy that's a WashU neurophysicist, scientist, doctor, and when it first started, because like I said, I studied the market, and I seen what was happening in China's market when it first started. And I asked him, I was like, hey man, what do you think about this COVID thing? And he was like, just wash your fucking hands, don't be gross. Yeah. 9 months later, it's like, just wash your hands, huh?
I think that the thing that makes it scary is I've known people who have been 27, relatively healthy, maybe a few underlying conditions that have died. And I've known people, we had a 99-year-old who recovered from it at my job.
Yeah.
And so it's just, that's the scary part of it, is because you don't know how your body, every human DNA is unique. You don't know how you're going to react to it. Like, I got it, I recovered, but I was sick as a dog for 4 days. This motherfucker had like the sniffles.
Yeah, I was a little tired, a little sore for like 3 days, and I was good after that.
Felt like a coke binge. Yeah, I hear the symptoms are bad. As far as just not being able to taste, the things that are like not being able to taste, I would hate that because I love food.
Yeah, I didn't have that, so that would have made it a real problem. That's what it was. It just sucked for her.
Yeah, no smell, no taste. I love the smell of weed.
I was so glad I came back because I love to cook. It's one of my favorite things, and it was like a month and a half of nothing.
Yeah, you just probably didn't have the will or want to.
No, I did.
Yeah, but did you?
I was cooking chili, and I was like, I don't know if this is too spicy. I cannot taste.
It's never too spicy.
For a 6-year-old, a little bit.
No, see, hot sauce went on everything. My mom, I always had a gallon of hot sauce in the house. She got tired of ramen and noodles. That's what I'd always. My mom would get pissed. My dad more than anything, because brothers love their hot sauce, and there would never be none left. So, have you guys had anybody close to you guys get it?
My mom had it, and her symptoms were mild, and she was mostly fine. I think we got it like at my brother's wedding, and where we both got it, and she got it as well.
Did he give you your gift back at least? I feel that's deserved.
Yeah.
Or at least the cost of it. You get COVID.
Yeah, I feel like it evened out at Christmas. They went. I think they went overboard, and I went underboard at Christmas. So we're all good.
How old are you?
23.
Yeah, you still got that. We'd be like, yeah, I'm 23. I'm on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I can only afford this homemade card.
Yeah.
You want to go smoke this weed I got? Just bought it out.
I feel like that was my first time meeting his whole family, though, and they gave me COVID, so I want a t-shirt that says that.
I met my boyfriend's family, and all I got was losing my taste and smell.
Yep.
Yeah, my first time, I think.
I know that.
Jules met my mom, which is, she's a mom. She's a character. You don't want to be on her bad side. For a float trip for my mom's birthday. Needless to say, I've never been on a float trip because I'm from the beach and we don't do that kind of shit. We go surf, we go swim in the ocean. We don't go hang out with the slimy things that you guys have. And I did not enjoy it. Neither did my dog. He hated all the rocks. It was hurting. Like you'd be floating, all of a sudden you just like, yeah, it wasn't good. But my mom and her drunk ass friends, not good, and her friends are professional alcoholics, like popping pints in the morning and shit, straight just. But it was a horrible time for her to meet. But they didn't get COVID. She didn't get COVID. She did get a rash. That was my fault. I had an outbreak, you know. Kidding. Anyway, so you guys are pretty quiet when I'm around. I heard you guys chuckling in there. You're always quiet.
I am. I'm pretty quiet.
You are.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. Usually I am more talkative. It's been a really long day at work. I have a patient who I can't stand. She drives me nuts.
And what kind of nurse are you? RN?
I'm an LPN.
LPN. Okay. Don't know the difference. RN's like the best, right? The highest paid?
Yeah.
Not the
They're
best.
highest paid.
They're just the ones that get to tell the other ones what to
Yeah,
do. Pretty
a lot
much.
of them sit in their office and don't do anything. And,
They do this. Like I do at work. Yeah. Looking good, boss.
I work from home. I don't even have to do that.
Did you have to stop work? Were you allowed to take off work when you got the COVID?
Yeah, I took off a couple days, just like I was feeling really tired. I took off like most of a couple days, but yeah, I didn't have to take that long off.
Isn't it,
Probably
I
pretty.
think amazing because if I worked from home and got the option to have like 10 days off straight with pay, I would.
And then you know how hard it is to push that enter button. Get that screensaver off. I get it. I mean, I would have called off and jerked off too. I mean,
Gotta do a little bit of that.
you know, gotta keep it.
Like I caught the plague. I deserve some time off.
No, yeah, definitely. Did you get any time off for the whole pandemic?
Like yeah, I took like a couple days, like while I was sick.
No, I mean like when they shut everything down.
Oh,
Or were you like full
nope.
blown trying to get every.
Nah, I went straight to working from home because which I don't have. Like I was not like I've only been there like a little over a year, but I didn't have work from home. But as soon as this hit, everybody went to working from home that was able to. And yeah, I just have a laptop, so it wasn't even a big deal to start working from home.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to work from home for just like 2 weeks.
I would get so fat because that's my job is what it's the only thing that keeps me in shape. That and like meth. No.
Honestly, the biggest thing keeping me in shape is I just get cabin fever, cannot stand being in my apartment for as long as I am, so I just go take walks like a couple times a day. I'll just walk around the city, walk a couple blocks and come back.
Your body's like, wow, is that what it's like to be on lunch break for a normal person? That's cool though. You're actually a pretty fit guy. You go to the gym?
Not really. Like I go play basketball, I run, I do cardio some. I also do a lot of yoga. I don't I used to lift weights, but I couldn't tell you the last time I lifted.
Yoga as in you just get really high and say you're meditating, or like actual yoga?
No, like I do like
'Cause I do the first one.
Yeah. No, I've done a little bit of that too, but no, I do like 10 minutes of yoga like every morning. I just look up like a YouTube video and do that shit. Yeah.
Flexibility is off the chain now.
Yeah. You can
It
get
helps.
your
It
leg
helps a
behind your
lot.
head.
No, my flexibility was so shit before. It's still pretty shit, but like it's getting better.
Mine always has been, and it always is. And I remember the one year, I think it was senior year, junior year, my trainer was like, you could probably dunk if you would, like, because I can't even. That's like it. He's like, if you could get to your toes, you probably add up maybe a couple inches to your vertical. And I was like, really? So I did that shit for like a year and a half straight. Never get it did give me a little bit, but I could never just get my wrist over it, like in my prime. Now, I don't even try.
Yeah.
I'm not twisting an ankle coming down again.
I've never been close to dunking. I can't jump for shit.
I could do putbacks. I just had to. All my cousins and shit, but they make fun of me because I was white. And they're like, don't you know white people can't jump? Like, fuck
Yeah.
you.
No, for me it was just very accurate. Like I was a pretty fat kid. Like I was a real chunker up until like 6th, 7th grade. But yeah, I've like always played basketball like very much on the ground kind of shit. Old man game since I was like 16.
Postman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your favorite team?
I honestly, I follow the NBA a lot, but I don't really have a favorite team. I just kind of, I've got players I like.
It's so weird. Everyone
It is
has a
weird.
favorite team though.
Well, okay. When I started watching basketball, the first time, because I don't know, I grew up in a small town. Most people there don't watch the NBA. They say they like college better, but usually it's more like,
That's as a basketball player throughout high school and everything. That was what we watched was college. That's what our coaches told us to watch. I said that's real basketball.
Yeah,
these guys are trying to get to here. And once they get there, they're. I mean, NBA be traveling. I see that shit. I can't even watch. I watch it sometimes, but I'd rather play. It always gives me that urge, like, man, I want to go play some ball.
I definitely would rather play, but I don't know. I love the NBA. I think it's. I don't know. I watch a lot of NBA. Like, if I'm not at a mic. If there's a game on, I'm probably watching it.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched any sports like that. I guess I watch a lot of the like market stuff, finance stuff for some reason. I just want to sit at home. That or comedy. I watch a lot of comedy. I've actually stopped watching some comedy.
I haven't watched as much comedy lately. Like, I don't know. I was watching a lot, like, at the start of the pandemic, and then I just kind of, I don't know, wanted to watch either comfort shows or just sports, whatever's on.
We've been doing Malcolm in the Middle.
Right? It's been a long time.
It's a good show.
It's so good.
Especially if you liked Breaking Bad, and like you go back and see the dad, it's like, oh wow.
Watched Breaking Bad.
That's a good one.
It's a really good one.
Yeah,
I'd rewatch it with you.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's one you can watch multiple times. That one, like, me and the wife did Lost a couple times. That was one of ours. Like, fall asleep too. I just wish they would have did a better job at the end of that.
I heard everyone was pissed about the end.
Yeah, they threw it together because I guess they ran out of money or ratings. Who knows? I don't know. But so, what do you guys think about this recent election? This is pretty fucking awesome, right? I mean, this has been the most eventful one so far. Like, I mean, they said the left were crybabies.
Yeah, this is it.
I swear, I saw like 4 of my exes at that fucking Capitol.
Yo, Jake, last night, did y'all catch Jake's set?
Yeah, I don't remember the joke. I remember there's a Capitol. I'm good.
He was kind of slow to start, and he's like, so I just got back from DC last week. Trip didn't go as planned. And everyone was laughing. It was good.
You know, I missed that. I almost opened with a Capitol joke. I'm glad I didn't now, because it was almost the same shit as that.
Yeah, luckily I went on before him, and I did my DC joke. Went to DC and learned that they don't use the term criminal anymore. They've replaced it with Republican and Democrat. And I get a giggle here and there. It just leads me into the people think impeachment's the worst thing that can happen. I think JFK would disagree. And like, that's the best one.
That joke did go over well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa, when I first said that one, Lisa, she still to this day comes up to me. She's like, that's one of my favorite jokes. And I was like, that's like the biggest compliment you can give anybody that's only been doing it for about a year.
Yeah. No, you need 1 or 2 people to tell you they really love one of your jokes. It's important.
Yeah, like the back door, those guys, a lot of the people that come to the back door, they really are supportive. I had one guy come up and tell me I reminded him of Stephen Wright. And I was like, dude, I'm not even a fucking pinky's worth of what Stephen Wright's a genius. Like, all around, hands down, best one-liner comedian that's ever lived. And you show me one that's better. Not Mitch Hedberg, not fucking Henny, not even the OG Henny Youngman, the guy with the black and white with the violin that would come on and tell a one-liner, and then he'd do another one-liner. But he was back in Lenny Bruce days, though.
Okay.
But yeah, Stephen Wright I can't watch him before I go on to a show because I end up doing too a bunch of his stuff.
Did you ever watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on?
I don't have Amazon Prime. Yeah, believe me and my wife have had this discussion. I'm like,
You hate
look.
Jeff Bezos that much?
No, I want. We have the Netflix.
I'll let you borrow my password just to watch this show, dude. It's so good.
I hear it's amazing. Even my dad has told me about it. He's like, oh, I guess you've seen Mrs. Maisel. I was like, motherfucker. Got people that don't even like comedy telling me about it.
Yeah, that's one of the better
But the dude who plays
shows.
Lenny Russo, he's really like almost has him down to a T.
Yeah, that one, and I want to see the show, the Comedy Store documentary. I want to see that.
Yeah, I've heard about
I'm a Joe Rogan fanboy. I'm sure you. Yeah, you're the only one that I tried to joke once and said, "Who is here doing comedy?" It's something about Joe Rogan, and you're the only one that raised your hand. It's something about who's here secretly got a crush on Joe Rogan too. And it was at the anchor, the heavy anchor.
I don't remember that. I believe you.
And you were wearing a flannel.
Probably.
That's
Yeah.
Yep.
Blue and black.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one. I had a friend's dad tell me I was looking sharp wearing that shirt, so now it's my favorite shirt ever. Like, this guy never talks, but he told me looking sharp because I was getting ready to go out. I'm like, all right, I'm getting some pussy tonight. Dean said I look good.
Fucking Dean, he knows. Have you seen his wife?
I have.
Yeah. That's what I do at night with the telescope. It's fucked up. I just got a telescope.
I saw that. I was checking that out.
Yeah, I found it. We do the thrift store shopping. It's like a date thing. Me and the wife try to do like once every couple of weeks. I go for like records. She goes for whatever she can find, and I get like that. Shit, got that typewriter too up there. The old Corona.
Oh hell yeah!
It's like one of the early electrical ones. A lot of that stuff, even the record player. Yeah, a lot of that.
Honestly, a typewriter would be great for writing jokes because I don't know. If I'm on my computer, it's very easy for me to get on the internet and get distracted and not be writing. But then you can actually type it out on there. That'd be.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. Have you ever watched Californication with David Duchovny?
I have not.
Oh my God, that's my favorite show, hands down. And I can watch that one over and over. It came on back on Showtime back when Weeds had first started up, and what's the other one that got really popular after a few seasons? It was in the UK too. Shameless. Right on then, but that came on right in between those two shows. And yes, Hank Moody, he's an author, but he's like the rock star of authors. He like literally rock stars try to hire him to do their autobiographies and shit, but a lot of times he says, people are asking him how he does it, and he's like, you gotta put your ass in the chair, and that's what he means. You don't mean in front of your computer, he means in front of the chair, in front of your typewriter, because that's what he used, was a typewriter, you know what I mean? And then he'd have a little glass of whiskey, and when he finished, he'd light a joint after every one, but he'd get writer's block real bad, because he's a New Yorker at heart, and he's in California now, because he wrote a book that became real popular, and they wanted to make a movie, and they wanted him on set, and then they destroyed his movie, as Hollywood always does with books, and he just got stuck out there in the California, LA lifestyle, I guess, which I probably would too, from the way it looks, if you got money.
Right.
I mean, I can't imagine it being too great with as expensive as it is. I've actually never been to California. I've been to California, I just never like gone and everyone's like, aren't you California? Because every time people say beach, people are like, no, California?
Yeah.
No, there's a lot more beaches than California.
Bullshit.
See, I would much more prefer to live on the East Coast. I don't know.
I guess because I grew up there, I'd have to agree. But that's the beach I grew up on. We have one great thing about it is there was an article written about the waves. As a surfer, the reason beaches are so popular are because of the waves. I mean, that's what makes their name is good beach breaks. I mean, you got half pie, backdoor, and all that stuff out in like Hawaii. And it's where it brings all the tourists and everything. So that's why all these Sunset Strip, but that's got a lot of the other stuff that goes on with the not Sunset Strip, but Venice Beach and everything with all the meatheads to do that. But yeah, a lot of the surfers and everything go out there. But we have the wave, like they say, if you learn how to surf where we're from, the waves are just, they dump so heavy and quick, like they just, you can surf any wave in the world if you learn how to surf a hurricane wave there. And it's like, yeah, because if you watch the other waves from Cali and Hawaii, they're just real long. Them guys are on them and they're like, yeah, you know, they cruise on it, do all that. Yeah, not us. When you, as soon as you stand up, you gotta be like grabbing rails and tucking into the barrel and like just hoping it spits you out. If not, you're going for a ride.
I'm gonna be honest. The only thing I know about surfing is, oh, that movie Johnny Tsunami.
I've never seen that.
I've seen it. Yeah. Actually, I don't think I've seen like the original one. I think I saw like the third or fourth Johnny Tsunami where he like goes back and he's like fucking.
They made more after that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah.
Me, Johnny Tsunami, and this whatever Blue Frost or whatever it is.
Yeah, because I don't know. Honestly, I only remember the one sequel because it was him coming back to Hawaii. So he had already in a previous sequel left Hawaii, gone to like Minnesota or some bullshit to like be a snowboarder and a skateboarder too. And now he's coming back, and there's like some bullshit like skateboarding, but like on trails and shit.
That is so stupid. No wonder they stopped everything, like,
I can tell you
good.
really got into this. He's like,
Well, like, you just unlocked a memory. I'm like, oh yeah, I never saw the original movie
like, oh,
that I feel like was probably the good one. Because this movie sucked.
Very good.
so we were just talking about comedians. You guys have a favorite?
Probably John Mulaney. Probably
You're a
my favorite.
Mulaney fan,
Yeah.
huh? How do you feel about him right now? He's fucking rock starred in the rehab.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I don't know. We're glad he's.
You could tell just by how good he's gotten. You could tell that cocaine helps him. You know.
I mean, yeah.
Just look at Sam Kinison before and after cocaine.
That's actually my favorite person is Sam Kinison.
He is, one of my top three. Sam Kinison, I love Sam Kinison. He was like my first as a kid, like shock, like oh, how is he doing that? And I remember the bit. He was him, he had his guitar, and he was talking about a recent breakup, and said, "Oh yeah, honey, it's not because all the money's gone, is it?" You know, he's like, "All right, well, I want my fucking records back," and he just does that scream. But him.
And his whole fucking life story too is just cool as fuck.
Yeah, what was that? His brother or something like that did a documentary about my brother Kinison or Sam, my brother Sam or something like that. But he was he was a preacher or a minister before he got like into a motorcycle accident and had a head injury, similar to Roseanne. Did you watch the Joe Rogan and Roseanne podcast?
I have not.
Yeah, she reveals that she had a head injury, and that's when she actually, I think, started becoming a comedian. And that happens to a lot of people. That you can have a head injury and something just changes. And there's something with her else. I can't. Maybe like math or numbers or something's off with that she has. And. But yeah, Sam had the same thing. He had a bad accident, I guess, on a motorcycle or some shit. Which that's why I got rid of my bikes. That and me and the guy at the bank got into a fight. 'Cause it was snowy and I couldn't get out. And I've never been late on a payment. Never. Usually pay early and shit. And it was only like $200. But he called me up and was getting snotty on the phone. I was like, dude, do you not see like a foot of snow on the ground? It's like I live on top of a hill. And he was like, well, are you going to even be able to pay it? And I was like, bitch, I'll be driving this bike into the lobby. Where are you at? I'm inside a Walmart. Which one? And then I just put it in the garage and I watched the repo man drive up and down the street probably for a year before I finally stopped him. I was like, are you looking for that bike? Like, it's up there. Go get it. They were hurting my back anyways. I don't know why. They were hurting my back. Did you ever ride?
No, I've bought two mopeds from like an estate auction, both not operational, intending to fix both of them and have not fixed either of them. I gave one of them away because I like found out how much was wrong with it. I'm like, yeah, I can't fuck with this at all. And then like in my dad.
Oh, it's not an oil change?
Yeah,
It
no.
don't mean it's just a new battery? Damn.
It was a pretty old one. I don't know, the one I've got, like I don't know shit about cars or fixing anything. I was really just like, I believe in myself that I'll figure this out, and then it's like, I don't want to figure this out. Now I've got other shit going on that I actually enjoy more, so I'm not going to learn about engines now. But I still have like a 2008 moped. Like, it's a decent moped. It's a Chinese moped. I'm like a brand I'd never heard of. So like I couldn't figure out how to get parts from it. For it, I'm like, I'm sure that's not hard if you know anything about doing that shit, but I've just not looked into it further.
And Jason's got a moped for sale, guys. If you
Or
don't know what's wrong,
if somebody knows how to fix it, 'cause it really does not need very many things. Like,
he'll trade jokes. He's got jokes.
honestly, yeah, I'll write for you. I don't give a shit.
It's bartering. I like it.
Mhm.
Full circle.
I was on a Fiverr the other day, and there's people on there selling fucking open mic sets and shit. Like, I'll write you your set. You can pay like $300 and get a 30-minute set from comedians. Like, that's
I don't
kind of scary.
I don't get wanting to cheat at an open mic. Like, I don't know. I guess people just want to get some laughs, but I don't know. I just don't see how that'd even be enjoyable.
Yeah, I like those are the people that go and do the open mics, and they're just they're more worried about the people around them think about them right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not worried about growing or
It's
being.
actually in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's those people, and like I like open mics because you can come out of your shell a little bit and try out different things, and you can really say fuck to you guys. You didn't pay for shit. Like, I'm trying out new shit. If you come to the show next week that I'm performing at, you'll get the routine fucking shit, and you'll laugh. I still sprinkle in a little here and there, you know, just to make sure that I'm not a complete bomb. I mean, I haven't bombed since Gary's. Like bombed. But I liked going to Gary's just for that reason. It got that shit out the way. I was good for the next week. Like, I was like, I can't bomb no harder than that, you know?
It's like, if this house falls down, it's not going to be as bad as fucking Arena Bar.
Well, I figured the arena bar out too. Like, that's kind of what I've liked. A lot of the other, if you go, each place is different because they each got their own crowds. Like, I went to the first couple times going to the place we were at last night. Didn't do so hot. And last night I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try some other shit. And I did. Like, I did the, like when I first opened up, because I came up the other night, I went to that spec scoreboard or something like that.
Yeah, scoreboard, Mary Jane's, yeah.
Yeah, and I was stoned out of my mind, and I guess I was looking at my phone or something. I went through a light, and it wasn't red, but they have these red and blue fucking lights on top of the lights for some fucking reason. And I thought I was getting pulled over for a minute. So last night I opened up and I was like, who the fuck's idea was it to put these red and blue lights down here in the hoods on the, why? It's a light. If you can't see the red, blue, and yellow, like, they're not gonna stop. Those little red, I sat for 20 minutes pulled over. I ate a quarter ounce of weed and shoved a ball of blow in my ass. And just tried something completely different, and it worked. It was not, those kind of, they liked that. They liked that crowd likes, I've learned, for you to belittle yourself. Because I went in there once and was like, you know, usually I'm not the best looking person in the crowd, but I think I got it tonight. Crickets. Said it at the back door, and they were like, yeah, you are the prettiest motherfucker in here. I'm just kidding.
They like a little more abuse out there.
Yeah, that's
I
my.
like Mary Jane's mic.
Yeah, right now. Well, yeah, that was a nice one. It was
That's
my favorite is Word Up though. As far as
I've never done Word Up. I went recently and I got there too late. Like, I ended up late on the list, but Yeah, it was a lot of fun being there. There's a lot of cool acts out there.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people, they like talk, they're like, I'm not going to that, they charge $5. And it's like, this chick's been doing this shit for years. It's her mics, it's her, you know, she's doing the advertising, she's also holding down her own thing. And it's like, if you don't think she deserves at least $5, she's updating her social medias, all three of them. And believe me, I haven't updated a Twitter or a fucking Instagram. I don't even know how to update my Facebook half the time. Like, I put some shit on there the other day, and it did, like, JC's like, I can't find the link. I was like, me neither. I thought it was on there. I'm horrible. It took me like 2 months to figure this shit out. In YouTube videos, a lot of them.
All I understand. I'm really bad with electronics in general.
Yeah, my computer, I figured out how to get this all going without a computer now, but I really didn't do the editing shit that I could be doing. I don't understand a lot of it. And like you were saying with mechanic shit, I'm the same way. But also with sound, I'm not going to be no great sound engineer right now.
Right.
I don't have time to put into that either. Because when I dive into shit, obviously. I got a whole 2 chests of just shit I bought, like, oh, this should be nice and this will work. Yeah. No, just needed a couple of these mics and this little fucking machine down here.
Yeah.
And it does it all.
You're trying to have a kid. You're too busy going raw to learn everything there is to know about building a great sound booth.
Yeah, that, and with the disclosure on aliens and everything, I can't keep up. I can't wait to meet these motherfuckers. I hear they got some out of this world pussy. Like, you ain't getting no better pussy than some alien pussy, dog. I don't know, but what do you guys think about that?
Alien pussy?
Specifically alien pussy?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys kept up at all, but about 9 months ago, CNN, Fox, and all them had an official from the Pentagon come up, and they said they have recovered an unearthly made vehicle, a terrestrial made vehicle. And then they released 3 UFO videos from aircraft jet pilots. Joe Rogan had the pilot on, Commander Carter Freighter or something like that. But it's one of them, it looks like a Tic Tac, they call the video the Tic Tac UFO. And it's these jet pilots that are following it, and they finally catch it on camera and everything. And then there's another one similar, and then the gimbal is what the other one's called. And then when Trump signed the recent spending bill, the one that he said he wasn't going to sign if he didn't put $2,000 checks, then he signed. That also inside that bill was 180-day countdown to disclosure. The intelligence communities had to gather all of everything they have and present it to Congress and the House. And they just last week they finally released all the Freedom of Information Acts that this one guy has done, and they gave him 22,000 files, or 2,700 files of different cases of UFOs and aliens. And then you've got 3 weeks ago, you had the Israeli chief of space security for the past however many years he's been on, has come out and said that we've been in contact with aliens, that they don't want us to know yet because we're not able to understand the fabric of space, the meaning of that yet. And Trump was supposedly going to tell us, and aliens warned him not to. We've been working with them, even on a base on Mars, like underground or some shit, is what this guy has said. And they even asked him, aren't you worried about people calling you a kook? He's like, look at my credentials. He was G as could be. He's like, fuck you. You know, do you see my credentials? I've done this. I'm a 4-star, whatever. It's like, yeah, I mean, he has he was the one that was working with NASA, because America and Israel has always worked pretty closely together, especially when it comes with the military. So, nothing?
I'm speechless, stunned.
Yeah, I've not followed like any of that shit. Aliens, I don't know, they've been on the back burner for me for a minute, kinda.
I believe like Roswell and shit happened, but like, I
not that active following it up with it. Like I'm not like I believe there are aliens somewhere. Like I
get it. I get that all that. A lot of people they label it conspiracy. Yeah. Real quick. And a lot of people think I talk a lot about it. I don't. The things I get into conspiracy-wise, the videos that get me, are the ones that are just like the one is called Redacted, and it's just people go through all the files that the CIA and the FBI release as far as like they have a certain amount of time. Sometimes for 10 years they're not allowed to. You can't release this information, or somebody has to pass away for the information. And they go through there and they create video. They go through the whole file and they talk about what's going on in it. And that's the kind of stuff I get, like Project Stargate. It's what the movie just meant at Goat. It was a real secret group in the CIA that was a remote viewing group. They could astral project and shit like that. And they were like psychic. And that's real files that the CIA has released and shit. And they talk about like the scientists. It's like the science end of it, like of all the studying and research for the project. And they release all those files, and these people go through the files and they break it all down. This is what this means, and this is what was happening here in the 40s or the 50s, and when they were first started. And those are the kinds of things. The QAnon crazy fucks and all that. I can't jump on that train. Trump he dodged the draft. What makes you think he's gonna go after pedophiles? They're like, but he wasn't on the plane. It's because he's got his own fucking plane. But I don't know. I do agree that there is an issue with pedophilia within our political group, because there's like 284 politicians in power. I don't know about now that the elections have gone, but at one point in time, before the elections, there was like 284 members of the government in high positions of power that have had sex allegations and charges with minors, and it's like, holy shit. Like, that's what it went. But once you dive into that and you watch one of those crazy videos, it's like, wow, you guys are crazy. You got a little too far. But the video production's good. Like, I'll give them that. That's,
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what's killing this conspiracy. That's why so many people are getting on these crazy ones, because they're fucking good. Like, it's like a Hollywood movie on some of them, and they can. Like, have you watched some of the flat earthers? I'm not a flat earther, but.
I was about to ask.
It's like, it's fun to watch, and like you get to be like, this is how hard I want to save the kids. I believe everything is bad is happening to them, and I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
By storming the Capitol.
Yeah. Well, but with that, it's actually there is something funny about that. Recently, and I'm one that I don't have a side. I think both sides are criminal. I think both sides have both committed crimes against humanity, major crimes of war, and America was built on our backbone is genocide. Two races of people, natives, and then the Africans, and now we're working on the third with the Middle East. Because we are still bombing the fuck out of them kids over there. Syria, and it's not, we're giving Sudan everything they want. Oh, you want to go put some gas on the killed kids over there? Well, as long as you do it, here's the fucking shit to do it. And it gives them plausible deniability, but they're still responsible. And so I don't like either side, but I like to look into the whole, I still follow politics. And then I just call out both sides and I piss them both off. And I'm like,
we all know that both sides are shit.
Right.
We definitely agree that one side's the lesser of the evil.
One side is definitely better spoken, and one that I would be more willing to like sit down and talk with. I wouldn't sit down and I don't like Trump. I think he's a piece of shit. He's not someone I would ever kind of hang out with. If we was just somebody at the bar hanging out, he would not be a guy that's going to even come up and hang out with me and talk to my group of friends. We're going to just laugh at him. We're going to charge him $50 for a gram of weed. All right, that's and then we're going to sell him a .8. That's
get your money up front.
So we're going to use him for all he is and all he's got. That's, I hate to say, but we don't like. I don't like people like him. Biden's got that's what I mean. I look into the real, like the dirty end of things, and he is responsible for a lot of shit. Like all the shit that Trump called for immigrants. Yes, I agree. But Biden and Obama built those camps. And Biden and Obama detained more. It's a fact. You can look at the numbers. I don't like either side. I don't want to be put on either side. But when I point out either side, Obama, you know how many people, innocent children that they bombed with man drones? You know how many soldier kids that were manning those, that are learning what they did finally, that are fucking killing themselves right now? Just that aspect alone is crazy. And then it's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in the Afghanistan and Iraq. And then the New York Times released the Afghan papers, which completely proved that it was all a bullshit war. Like the colonels and the generals kept asking the Pentagon officials, like, what are we doing here? Who's the enemy? Where are we going?
Right.
And it was this huge fucking paper that the New York Times or Washington Post released, which is basically saying, yes, the weapons of mass destruction was a whole lot. It was all a lie. It was all a big money laundering scheme, it seems like. And so both sides are bad when it comes down to it. Yeah, when you want to get into the nitty gritty of what's on the news, I'm not paying attention to what Trump said on his Twitter feed unless it's really funny, because sometimes he does say some funny shit. Like that Greenland shit with the Trump Tower, hilarious.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, he's like, when they were talking about buying Greenland or something, he like posted it. And he put like a Trump Tower photoshopped on. He said, I promise I won't do this if we buy Greenland. It's like, it's fucking funny. He, like Rogan says, he's like a comedian, an old school dirty New York comedian. Like when Hillary was talking shit about him being a justice leader or something, and how could he, and what would he do? I'd put you in jail. And like, that was awesome. You know,
it was a sick line.
Yeah. And then he brought all of Bill Clinton's fucking sex allegation victims and set them in the front row of the debate with Hillary. Hilarious. Like, I mean, that is a tactical move. Hillary should have rigged the rest of the election. That's all I can say. I always think elections are rigged. I was like, how is that not a rigged election? But back to the thing. This election, Texas, lady just got caught on tape admitting that she was rigging the election and everything. She's looking at 20 years. How come our news keeps saying that there's no election fraud? I don't care what side she was voting for, you know, because there's election fraud on both sides. How come we keep hearing that this is the most secure election we've had and there's been no fraud? There's obviously been fraud. There's a lady looking at 20 years in prison. I don't know. I mean, what do they?
I didn't hear that. Where was that?
This was just recently, Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, which he's the one that like got CNN on camera, the owner of CNN, like saying some crazy shit on camera and how they're like just gonna go after Trump because it's all about ratings. And they were in a bar together. But this guy gets these high-end people. Well, he got this lady on there, and she's like the Texas Attorney General and was running the elections down there. And she's talking about how she persuades people to vote one way because she's getting paid by certain candidates. She admits right on tape and everything. This is all wrong. I'm not supposed to be doing this. I can't even have these ballots in because she had a bunch of other people's ballots in her car. That's illegal. You're not allowed to have another person's ballot in your vehicle on your persons. You know, that's a big thing. And I just don't see it anywhere. It's like, why isn't this being taught? Why can't we just have a straight up, it's like, hey, this is what's up. How come they won't cover some shit like that? What's the point? Why would they lie and just hide it? That just makes us more suspicious.
Well, what I would say, I don't know, I try to keep track of stuff like that pretty well, and I hadn't heard about that. But like I have heard, like there are different cases where it's like, yeah, there's some evidence of fraud here, there's some evidence of fraud here. Like there are examples of that, but there's also like procedural things. Like those things happen in every election that's ever happened. But like there's also like there's a certain margin of error that we kind of are aware of. Like you're gonna have a certain amount of things go wrong with that, but they've been investigated. Like there's been nothing brought into court, nothing that is held up in court that would show there's enough votes that have been like fraudulent in any way that has actually would affect the election, like in any individual state where it would do that. Like there's no path for any of these allegations, like anything that's been brought up in court, because there's a lot of things brought up by like the people pushing these claims of fraud.
With
there's
like
a lot
the
of people,
computers and
yeah,
they're
pushing these things.
I can't understand that.
They're
I can't see no fraud.
They're pushing all these theories like in the media, and they're going out and saying, well, there's all this fraud here, all this fraud here. Once they're actually in court, they're not actually saying any of those huge allegations they say in the media. They have like much smaller arguments, but they're getting covered as these huge things we're doing. But every time in court, they're not even saying what they're saying publicly, because they would be arrested for perjury because they have no evidence of these things.
Yeah, see, that's why I like this case, because the lady's on tape saying what she's doing, explaining it to another person. Like, she's kind of trying to maybe train him, and then she even says, this is illegal, I can go to jail for this. And that's a clean-cut case, so it makes you think, like, because yes, you're right, it takes years for them, years and years of investigations, for most cases. But this one's so clean-cut and dry. Well, it may be one of the first ones we actually see somebody do 20 fucking years for election fraud. But the thing about it is she's a Republican. She's claiming it was the Democrats that were paying her to do it. But she's a Republican and everything. So, like Gary was saying, it sounds like a bad actor to me. He's like, it could be, but that, they better be paying her good. That's 20 years of her life. 25 is a life sentence. That's crazy. And as far as Biden or Trump, I would have, if they put a gun to my head, I would have picked Biden. But I still would have beat Biden's ass if he was in the room, because you put me in a bad situation, because I don't like him either. I liked Yank. If that's the only one I support. He's the only one that answered an actual question when he was asked. He said, well, we ran some analysis, me and my team, and this is the problem, and this is how the only way we can fix it, and these are the options we can do and how we take it. And I was like, that's what we need. We're almost $30 trillion in debt right now. Our GDP is now trillions of dollars below our debt, which usually it's above. It's not a good sign when your GDP falls below the national debt. We're usually a couple $1 trillion always above the national debt, but Corona has put us below it now. And we need an Asian that's talking about math, an Asian, and he was preaching math. And the biggest thing is, his UBI. Okay, yes, but look at the underlying things that he wanted to do. He wanted to implement real financial education, how to use money to make your money. You give a whole generation that, from K through 12, you teach them how to put their money into places that they're gonna see a return, assets, fucking currencies, everything that they can do, how to actually put their money and follow the market and put it into places that are booming at the time. Because yes, you can put your money in one thing and just hope in the next 50 years it grows and grows, and you may get your normal average 2 to 5%. But if you pay attention, you can take your money and put it, this is, you can follow demographics. We have baby boomer. All the people start fucking because of COVID. We have another boomer, baby boom. All right, and now you can put your money into stocks that orientate to baby shit, because that's gonna be the things that are coming.
This sounds too much like supporting capitalism to our children and never ending the cycle.
Right, but yes, but he's trying to. They're never gonna allow it. I agree. I had Zach Bukovich on here, and I said for a long time, I was like, I'm a capitalist. I want to be able to trade the market freely, and that's not capitalism. Me and him sat here, and I was like, we were having a heated conversation. It got so loud that I couldn't even upload it because it was so distorted on everything. I was like, it's shit. The audio was shit. But so I was like, settle down. Let's just calm down. And I pulled it all up. We were like, let's look it up. We looked everything up. We looked up Karl Marx and Marxism and socialism and capitalism. And yes, you can have what I always call capitalism, as in having the right and the ability to compete in a free market. I can start a company, and I can build that company, and it can be endless. Well, there is some problems with socialism. Like, if I build that company and it's mine, I put the money in, I built it, I go out and, I work every day and build this company. 100 fucking burnouts that I hired to fucking bag groceries aren't gonna tell me what to do with my company. You know, get fucked. That's where my end is, because socialism is about worker-owned like companies and everything, right? Isn't it more social? These corporations wouldn't have a small board that have all the votes of where everything's gonna go. Instead, the workers decide what the company's gonna do, if they're gonna stop producing.
The workers build the company, though.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know. How does that work? If the workers have to build it, you still gotta have one person to create it. Not everyone can create, you know, that when it comes to business. So it's a hard thing. I've tried to be a successful like business owner and try different things. It's a difficult thing to know that trick, that like selling and managing and all these other things is.
Okay, so how I envision socialism would be with people that had those gifts did that.
Mm-hmm. And then
Other people did other things that they were built to build.
Right. I'm a firm believer in the consumer and the working man is the one that builds the economy. I don't believe in trickle down economy. I don't think it hasn't worked.
No.
Never has. So I do believe that the consumers are what builds economies. A company, a corporation shouldn't get tax breaks because they create jobs. They couldn't create those jobs if they didn't have the people buying these products that have that job. You know, it's all a circle, and if people don't have a good job, they can't buy the products and consume. Rich people can only consume so much. They're only going to buy so many cars. They're only going to buy so many jeans. They're normal, average people still. They only have one or two houses, maybe the vacation home too. But that's still not going to make up for everything else. So it's the consumer that has to consume, and the only way a consumer can consume is to have more. To more money it should be paid fairly, as I feel. That's my outlook on it. I feel we have a minimum wage is horrible, especially what we're doing in slave trades in other countries with children, but that's a whole nother subject. I like the bargaining thing. Believe me, I'm a true hippie. I could do that all day long. I've got land, I could farm, I've grown all kinds of shit my whole life. I would be down with that, but in today's society, if you're gonna build a company, I just think the only way we're gonna make it work is if we force these companies to actually start treating the people fairly and right. $7 an hour is what?
$7.25.
$7.25.
Yeah.
What's that times 40? That's not even. That's not 400. That's like 3 something. Maybe.
It's never gonna happen though. You're not gonna get that.
Where me and Zach talked, is he said me and him argued was the reason everything is the way it is because capitalism, the way everybody ends up in greed and all that. I was like, no, I feel that it's more government regulation has failed. Our government has failed us with regulating. They have literally become, we are a socialist country in my view. We are a corporate social company. We bail out the corporations and banks every year. Before COVID, we were lending the banks trillions of dollars every night in the repo market just to keep their books fucking equal, because they didn't have enough in the account, because every night they have to do their books. And if they don't have enough money for the amount of loans and everything they have out, they have to go to the feds for a repo, is what they call it, and get a loan. And they were taking trillions of dollars before the repo market. Before COVID. And we just gave them another 4.25. Which would have given every citizen here about $20-something thousand. You think we could have made it through 9 months with 20 grand?
Probably, yeah.
No. Then paid all the bills. So the banks wouldn't have been hurting them, right? Because they would have been getting paid for those car loans and those mortgages. And why did they do that? Why is a dumbass like me thinking this way, and the people that are smart and what's happened? Where did it go wrong? I don't get it. So do you guys know where it went wrong? When was it booming? I understand where you come from, and I know your view. Believe me, I thought that way my whole life. I was like, yeah, why isn't it that way? I lived in a tent for like 2 years, and I could do that all day. I would love that. That's a utopia, is in your point of view.
Yeah, that kind of is.
You do what you can, you do what you know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, everyone's happy. So do we just kill all the greedy? Or the rich? Do we just deport the rich?
Eventually they die out.
I don't see that, especially with the way our youth is going. They're so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of hard economic opinions because I'm just like, I know it's fucked up, like how it's going, and I know it needs to change. I don't know exactly how it needs to change. Like, I've got some stuff that I'm like, obviously, I'm like, okay, we definitely need, like, okay, putting some kind of tax on wealth, just because when you reach a certain level of wealth, like when you're a billionaire, your ability to grow your money is just so much exponentially faster than like normal people. Like, it's not even like you're not losing money if you're getting taxed like on like your total net worth. I'm not saying literally that, the specifics whatever, but like if you're getting taxed say like 2% on your net worth is still growing just like normal. You've got it in investments at like 7% or something like that. Like the amount it's growing is gonna grow you're still going to be getting a hell of a lot richer with some kind of a wealth tax. I think that's one thing that I'm like, okay, we need a wealth tax of some kind.
Yeah, well, the best time we ever had was, I think, FDR. We had a 90% wealth tax. So it was made over a certain amount. Tax. But the way they've done it is, like I said, failed regulation in government, is they've now made all these loopholes to where they do this thing with their money, and because they have a lot and they can do it, and they can show losses for losses that didn't really happen. They can like whitewash losses. They can buy a bunch of stuff that they know isn't going to be valuable at this point in time of the year. At the end of the year, it shows losses, and then it follows around and it spikes back up because it's that like gas in the wintertime. You know, natural gas is going to go up in the winter, but I just think there needs to be more regulation with these guys as far as the wealth tax. Yes, wealth tax, because they are making so much. I think there should be a tax like the Andrew Yang was talking about. He wanted to just do like, I think, a half a penny on every trade that's done. Mm-hmm. Every trade that's done. And there are billions of trades a day done. It would cover healthcare. It'd cancel out like schooling over time, loans and stuff like that over time. Just think of how many trades. We have the greatest trading market in the world. That's why so many people want to hear. That's the one thing about Trump's shit I did agree with his tariff taxes and the trade war. You know, we used to have a lot of tariff taxes on all these people that wanted to bring their products here and sell them to us because we are such great consumers. And they would tax them. And that's why we weren't taxed so high, and we didn't have to pay as high taxes. We're paying more taxes today than what we went to a war for. Just think of that. The people today, people back then during that war, they were throwing tea in the Boston whatever bay. They would roll up, like if they were alive today, they'd shoot us. They'd be like, you guys are idiots. And we fought a whole war for that, for this whole reason. And I don't think people realize that either. If I had that thought when I get really high sometimes, they're like, yeah, a lot of people died for that shit. Like, I wonder how much we're being taxed compared to what they were being taxed, with everything included. So.
Yeah, but their lives sucked a lot harder than most of ours.
They did. We have tech. We have technology, but they still had family issues. They still had depressions. They still had.
Now we have even more issues. That is
we have more issues, but like way more people at that time, like still fairly new colonies. A lot of times, like there's a lot of people like struggling to survive at that point in a way that like obviously there are a lot of people struggling to survive now still, but like I don't know. I feel like the quality of life at lower incomes is probably a lot higher now than it was then.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. As far as the ability to get to, denied service at an emergency room, you know.
Right.
Back then it wasn't like that. And the transportation, that's something like I said, like, I think when we have like these big natural disasters, like when I was, that meltdown happened in Japan, was it? The nuclear meltdown or some shit? I kept seeing on news all these people that were just getting fucked up, and like they were having, nobody was evacuated. I was like, we have everything we need to send some fucking helicopters there and get the people. What is wrong? Go fucking fix it. What are y'all doing? Russia, Iran, Iraq, China. Go. What are you waiting on? It doesn't make sense. Like we spend the trillions of dollars a year to kill. I always ask people, what do you think we could do if everybody, if every country took their military budget for a year? Ours was like close to $800 billion this year.
Was that all?
And that's what they just approved. They'll have a lot more. That's not including the black budget. But that's the budget where the public's allowed to see. There's a whole nother one that no one's allowed to see, which I think was up to like 21 trillion recently that they couldn't even account for. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What is the last war you think you fought that was justified?
I don't agree with war.
At all?
Not once we got to a certain weird. It's very barbaric to me. Very barbaric. I don't. In this, it's kind of like when people say when I talk about anything that's bad that's going on, and they're like, well, that's just the way it's always been. It's like, when are we gonna take the next step? That's like, all right, that's how it was. When is it gonna stop being been? That's how it is and how it's been. That's how it was. Like there's a lot of things we don't do today that they used to do back then. You know, they used to sacrifice people on stakes. They used to gods and stuff. We don't need to do that. We don't do that today. And I think we can change that. Like the murder, why did we? And one day, hopefully, they're gonna look back and they'll be like, why did they have these things called wars? That's gonna be a question when they're in school learning a history of human. They're like, war. That's gonna be hopefully, because I don't know. It's just not something.
You called socialism a utopia, and that sounds like a utopia too, man.
Exactly, I agree. I put myself. Yes, that's me being able to like, what would I love? But when in reality, the last war in reality that may have been good. I guess maybe the Civil War, because it gives me what I have today. If it wasn't for the Civil War, I may not even be in America. It could be something else. But then I'm justifying and supporting the genocide of the natives and all the fucking people in the British that died for it, and I just can't see that there's no purpose. We can't sit the fuck down and talk. We can't do this. This isn't something that can be done. You can't hug it out. You can't.
Hug it out.
Yeah, you just too. Yeah,
Why couldn't Hitler and Winston Churchill have just hugged it out? I feel like they would have got along.
Yeah, Churchill did not like Hitler, bro. Like
I know.
I went down that rabbit hole, and it was like, whoo. Like I didn't know, I just thought Hitler was a big piece of shit, and then I was like, Winston was a piece of shit too. Like Winston Churchill was a piece of shit too. I think the worst president of all was Woodrow Wilson, though. He's the worst, and he's even claimed that he's the one that ruined America because he's the one that signed the Federal Reserve into play, which was the downfall of America. That's what made us the corporate America. We would probably be much more like your vision of a perfect world if it wasn't for Woodrow Wilson. He's even said it. I have ruined everything that we have built and have been trying to build to create in America. He has ruined by signing into the Federal Reserve Act. There's a great documentary called The Creature of Jekyll Island. It's about the world's richest men coming together in Georgia in this island called Jekyll Island. And they spent like a week there, and they drew up this bill called the Banking Act, and they created the Federal Reserve, which is a centralized bank, which is why we have most of our wars. If you backtrack everything, it goes all the way back to the Federal Reserve. Everything, and they've profited on each end. On both sides, they have profited every time, and they control the money. They print it off. They don't even print it. They're just like, go ahead, take it. How much do you want? Yeah, we'll write it down. It's not even. It's like that movie Wolf of Wall Street and Matthew McConaughey. He's like, it's just numbers in a computer. It's not real. Like, and that is what a lot of our wars. Like, if you look, every country that's ever wanted to stay on a gold standard currency, and not go to a fiat currency, we have invaded and destroyed. Like, every single one. We're doing it right now today still. Iran and Iraq was the ones that we seen. In Afghanistan, and we took a lot of gold from them. What was that movie, The Three Kings? Did you ever see that with like Ice Cube and George Clooney or something like that? Bunch of soldiers, and they find like a warehouse full of like just pallets of gold bars that the CIA is basically just taking from Iran, and it's supposedly based on something like that. I can't remember all the details. But yeah, the government, I don't trust them. I don't trust our elections. I think it's all decided. I think that's all pre-planned and decided. When it comes down to it, to me, I don't think our vote counts because the electoral system doesn't allow our vote to count.
I mean, some votes count more than others, like with the electoral college, but like I do still think like votes are counted, and that's generally what it's based on. Like, obviously there's some amount of fraud in that.
No, I think it's a game that they give us to keep us busy. I'm not talking like the deep state. I'm talking like that you've got the owner of Lockheed Martin's and the Raytheons and the boards of that. These are the real elite. The ones that aren't elected, the people that are running things, those are the ones that choose who's going into president. It doesn't matter what we vote. If they didn't like the way what's his name was doing, if we didn't bomb enough people, if we didn't make them enough military contracts, and then next guy's up. And Trump just caused too much problems with his mouth and his piece of shit ways to everybody. I can't believe I was so surprised he beat Hillary. Like, I don't like Hillary either, but I was like, I woke up the next morning like taking a poop, and I was like, really? Like, is this like the Al Gore and the?
I don't know. Being in the Midwest, you just saw such a violently angry reaction to Hillary by so many people, and she just really did nothing to reach like a certain type of people, and just said things and that made it very easy to attack her and make her this evil devil lady, and it wasn't hard for people to be convinced to really hate her. She made it very easy with so many ways.
And that's why in the beginning of everything though, because she was so hated, it was easier to forgive, I guess, people who did vote for him, because it wasn't based on pretty much a lot of the hate and shit that he, started after he got.
Yeah.
But he was preaching to every person who had struggled, and they gave them hope for that money.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he was
a lot
preaching.
of rural Americans, they were just like, yeah, we're gonna get on board with this dude because he's gonna get us out of poverty.
Yeah, he ran on manufacturing. That's who he got. He got the factory workers. He still allowed factory jobs to go. Andrew Yang was the only one that's talking about that. He's talking about automation though. He just kept talking about, he's like, watch, and it's happening. We've been seeing it. You go to the grocery store, you check yourself out or somebody check you out? I've checked myself out there every time I go nowadays. Automate, that's a lot of jobs. And as soon as 5G, and I'm not a conspiracy on that, that's gonna just give us the broadband and the widths and the power to be able to have a much better automated vehicle system. And they've already got the vehicle, the trucks built, the semis and everything. And that's I think 30% or something of the male workforce of some sort is shipping and receiving and everything, and you take away a lot of jobs, and that's what he ran on.
I work in transportation. It is something you kind of look at as they're getting close to where the technology that supports this whole community, kind of the jobs there. It's automation's gonna happen at some point. It's gonna be that's gonna be what you gotta do to compete. So I'm really curious to see how that plays out, because that's a lot of jobs.
Because that means I have to learn more about technology, computers, and I do not like it. And also, I hate the self-checkout line because it makes me feel guilty, like I'm about to steal something and they're watching me, but I'm not stealing anything.
Yeah, I just don't want to bag my own
No,
shit.
they came. They did it. I was looking at numbers, and the money that they're losing from the percent, because they are having more people steal from that. But it's still, they're making so much more money from not having to pay somebody, and like insurance and workers' comps. And it's just like.
No, that's why it's like, stealing from Walmart isn't even a crime. It's like,
I lived off of their beef jerky and Cheez-Its for like the whole time I was in my town. I would steal shit and return it back to them to get gift card and go buy me phone nets with it. Yeah, that was a little shit, but I got by.
See, I was always too afraid to shoplift. Like, I know when I'm doing something wrong and I'm really suspicious, but I had a lot of crackhead booster friends, and they would take me to the mall, and they'd be like, "What do you want, girl?" And I'm just like, "Oh, that looks cute." You know what? Like, I would never do it.
Yeah.
I met the right people, though, with the sticky fingers.
Yeah, I never. It was food. I only stole. I'd steal food. Cause how bad do you really look if you're like, I'm hungry, dog? Like, I'll play that real quick. You know.
And like, who working at Walmart is gonna be like, yeah, fuck you, man. We're taking you to jail. It's like, dude, I just want to get through this shift. Get the fuck out of here.
And I never stole a product. I returned it to them. I wouldn't even walk out the store. I got to a point where like, I just go, and it was usually like these the truck wiring harness kits. I could get them, and they were like $40 or $50, and a little plastic thing that popped right open, didn't have an alarm on it. And I just take it up and mix it up a little bit. Like, I got the wrong one. I didn't have the right model. I already got the other one I needed. And they just give me a gift card. And I go buy my phone minutes because you had to pay for the minutes. And I had to have a phone as a millennial. I think I'm a millennial. Yeah. But I don't know. That was like the best times. People were like, "Oh, you lived in a tent." I was like, "Dude, I lived more life in those 2 years than most people live in their whole life." Like, I met so many people. I would just summertime. There's so many tourists. We lived on tours. It's like tourist ran, and you just meet so many people that are like, just these rich kids that their parents have a $10 million beach cottage that they stay at for 2 weeks out of the year. And they're gonna go to their next beach cottage in Florida, and you link up with them. Hey, you should come with. Oh, fuck yeah! You don't pay for shit. You have great dinners. All you gotta do is bring the weed, and help them and teach them to surf. Like, that was the big one. But that was like the biggest like chick pickup ever. Like the surfer thing. Like, I just walked down and I put my hair tie in my pocket. Like, hey, you got a hair tie? Trying to surf, and then I got take their hair tie. And there's a trick, you don't talk to them, you just take the hair tie and you go surf in front of them, come back and throw it at them. Like, hey, thanks. I'm like, oh my God, I always wanted to learn how to surf. Like, I got more boards at the house, girls, why don't y'all come on?
It only works if you say cowabunga at the end of it.
No, I just have that bad stoner. Me and my friends still do down there. You'll talk to them, and my little bro Mills, he'll be like, yo, bro, I was like, fucking just surfing these waves, and I caught one, and I got booed, and I got in, and I got out, and I got in. It's like, dude, chill. That's where I got he would used to come up and be like, yo, dude, man, bro. I'm like, yo, pick one. Like, yo, dude, man, or bro. Not all of them. He was a cool kid. His older brother fucked his head up by just getting him high at like 10 years old. His older brother, man. But he was the coolest looking. He was one of the most talented skateboarders I've ever met. Like, 15 years old, he's like hucking a huge air, like 540s and shit over big gaps into one pool into the next. It's like, yeah, I can't do that. I'm just gonna cruise around and look cool, man.
Yeah, I got a longboard, so I don't even look cool.
I tried to talk my old lady into letting me build a little mini ramp in here, but she wasn't having it. I'll put it in my garage eventually. I'll eventually have a mini ramp. Cause that's what I'll do. I'll just car it back and forth, hit the little radio. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't going off the ground nowadays. So, last time I broke an ankle, like the day I was starting a new job, or the day before, and it was with this chick. I was going on a date with, and she wanted to go to skateboard, and she was good.
That bitch.
Probably better than me. And then I rolled and fucked up my ankle and shit in front of her. I was like, man, I'm not getting no pussy. She gave me some pussy. But,
Lies.
That was the one thing I like. Me and my friends, it was a competition. Like that was our thing. We called it Girl Scout. Every day we all had we all rented rooms out of one beach cottage. That's how it was. You rent a room out of the beach. That's the poor people, or you get a trailer off the island and you drive onto it over the bridge. And we said fuck that. And we would get that, and we were like, all right, the rule is you just gotta, if you holler, my thing was, if you holler at least 10, one's probably gonna say yes. Like, one's gonna come hang out tonight. And we would have like a party every night. And yeah, in my house, that flop house you hear of, like you listen to an old Sublime song and he's talking about people everywhere, people kicking ceilings. And that was my shit. My landlord would come in and she was a Russian. And she really didn't care, she'd get pissed, but we would like, take sheets and hang them up and like make different rooms. Turn like this 4-bedroom cottage into like a 10. And she'd come in, she'd like incense burning, weed everywhere. She'd like, it's like a fucking gypsy in here. The fucking gypsy. Do you have rent? Like, we got rent. Oh, okay. And she'd leave. Her name was Sharka, and she drove a Corvette, and that's what her license plate said. It was Sharka. She gave us a job at Taco Bell.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she was the manager there, but she'd never worked because she had
Taco Bell sounds good. They're bringing potatoes back.
My wife
I'm
told me
psyched
that.
for that.
Yeah, y'all threw a big enough fit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What's y'all's favorite fast food? Taco Bell's is up there. Like,
It's
a good
probably
one. If they give me enough fire sauce, see, I don't like not being able to go in and get handfuls. Cause they piss me off with that. They're like, how many sauces? A lot. And then we had one in Valley Park, and he's like, yeah, like how many do you want? And I always fuck him up. 23 and a half, bitch. Huh? Take one, split it in half. Put one half up your ass, and give me the rest, you fucking dick. Pull that old, what was that? Tenacious D.
I like chalupas. Chalupas fucking best.
Yeah.
Those like chicken roll-ups with the
yeah, shredded chicken, the crunchy rolled tacos,
Yeah.
rolled tacos, maybe.
Nothing that I really ate went off the menu, but I was mad for everybody else.
Yeah, shredded chicken is fucking bullshit. Hey, not a shredded chicken.
They used
I don't
to
think
have
they're
a
bringing that
chicken Caesar salad wrap back in the day, like a taco. It was like chicken Caesar with like green romaine lettuce and like the little tortilla strips. Ah, that was great, fucking great. And they took it off the menu. I used to have a chick's mom. She loved me. I don't know why. Only one, I think, ever. The only parent that ever liked me that I dated. And she would just come pick me up or bring me food to my house. Like when I was like 6, it would piss my mom off. Because while we were dating, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to eat that. And just shit, I'd hit her up and get Taco Bell. I was a little shit. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I was like, man, I'd be pissed if my kid hit up another fucking person. I would beat his ass.
You'd probably be proud of Alex.
He has charisma.
You're a 13-year-old, is it your 13-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he pretty mature for...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I find that's the one thing that scares me is I find a lot of my friends that had kids really young, and they like learned it with their kids.
Yeah, definitely,
Tend to be more mature and kind of seem like they're gonna deal with life a little better. Now, me and Jules being able to just hire somebody and fucking take care of it pretty much, it's gonna be a shithead. Like, what do you want? Shut up. Here, you get out of my face.
Daddy's trying to record a podcast, goddammit.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna hopefully I'll be like, babe, I think I'm gonna start trying to do comedy on the road. Got a couple of gigs booked. Oh yeah, where? Oh, there's an open mic at Indianapolis. How much does it pay? Free 50.
Kids do ruin your dreams, but in the best way.
Yeah, my sister had 2 real young, and I see that they're like now both. One's in high school, like getting ready to like go. I think he's had sex now, and like they're wanting to smoke weed. They're at that age, 15, 16, getting ready. And it's just crazy seeing. I'm still the coolest and roughest uncle in town. Anytime I come around, because I taught him how to serve, I was the cool one. That is the one great thing. All their other uncles, my brothers and stepbrothers, they're all douchebags. Like, douchey, like pillheads and shit. That's one thing I'm so glad I didn't become as an addict. I control my drugs, goddammit. I think we only judge addicts that are poor. Because I know a lot of rich addicts. Like, I've worked right next every day with I used to, with a millionaire addict. Like, meth, at that. Like, I asked him about it. Like, yeah, you buy weed at the end of the week, don't you? I was, no, I'm sorry. He's like, come on, man. I was like, yeah, he's like, you pay all your bills, and what you got left, you buy some weed. I'm like, yeah, that's all I do. His kids drove like an Audi. His daughter had a fucking like badass Jeep and everything. His wife had a fucking GLX, just $100,000 Mercedes, that square one that's real ugly. Yeah, he didn't smoke it often. He would put it in his coffee and shit. And I guess it fucking worked. You know?
Yeah, whatever works for you.
He'd swing a hammer right next to you all fucking day. And he had it under control. I think we just judge the people that let it get out of hand and don't control it. Like the dumbasses that get really stoned and go grocery shopping. Like, it's just stupid. You gotta be mature. You gotta get high afterwards.
There's definitely like a income-based judgment on it. Like when poor people smoke crack, so they're bad, but rich people do blow at parties and they're good.
Well, shit. I mean, isn't politicians all the time? Then one of the Biden kids gets caught smoking crack or some shit. Like, I mean, nobody even gives a fuck. Like, Obama was doing blow. He's like, he came out. He's like, I was at a party. I did a little blow. I regret that, but it is what it is. Now let's move on. And he just sold that shit. And everyone's like, well, yeah, right. But we look at the guy that's in jail. He's like, yeah, I did a little blow. And I was riding around in the car. And I got pulled over. And now my life's ruined. And it's like, yeah, you fucking drug addict. It's like, yeah, I just did coke for I know a lot of people. I've met a few people, like when I was in jail, that got busted down there on that beach because just that first time or second time ever doing it like a drug, and they get pulled over with it, and they don't know how to use that prison pouch. Ladies, they got 2. We got a fucking. I mean, better than going to jail.
Yeah.
The old keister. You never been to jail before, have you?
No.
That's good.
No,
I've only been the one time. Well, I've been a couple times, but you should always at least check out the, just a in and out kind of thing. No, I haven't been arrested in a long time, but I did go to jail once and for a little while, and I was like, yeah, I'm too pretty for this shit.
I can never make it in prison. I've been arrested a few times, but I usually talk my way out of it because I was younger.
I was at the point where I was like, put me in prison, because they were holding. I continued the case for a long time, and then they found a bunch of fucking evidence that we were able to fight, and then they continued it. So I had sat in county for like 9 months. By then, most people go to the prisons to where you could still smoke, and you have better food options. You have better, there's more. You have more, a little bit more freedoms in a way.
You're supposed to be there longer, so that
it's set up to be there longer. The jail isn't set up for you to be there. You got the couple ramen is about it's what you live off of, and that's all you shit for. And like you shit Justin Timberlake hair. I remember that. I tried to have that when I was a kid.
Say what you will about addicts though, but they come up with some brilliant schemes to get money though. Like I knew this girl, okay? She was really hooked on pills, and her idea was brilliant, if not morally wrong, okay? And she did this. So she would pretty much pose online as a little girl in these chat rooms to catch pedophiles.
And blackmail?
Yes, then another dude would show up, and then another person would show up, and they'd be the good cop, bad cop. Like they were gonna arrest them. They were pretending to be police officers, and they were like, "I'll take this bribe if you pay me this much." And
That's
it worked.
Yeah, I could see that. I guess I've never done no crazy shit like that. The worst thing I ever did was the pizza. The guy, we would order, like, on our road, a bunch of beach cottages wouldn't be rented out during the time. So we order a bunch of pizzas for a couple of them because they send them all to the same driver. And then, like, they know a bunch of different people live in the houses or rent them out, different families. So we would always have them come in and be like, I didn't order it, hang on. And while my buddy was doing that, have them come in and then we would buy just a small pizza. I'd go snatch all their pizzas out of the car. They got so bad that they were required to start putting the food in the trunks of their cars and lock it up.
So in the, I used to get paid once in a while, like $20 or so, because I was homeless and really needed cigarettes. And I would get paid to be the voice on the phone because they'd have to like talk on the phone because they said I sounded like a little girl.
Hey, yeah, it's $20. Dude. I've done a lot of work now.
And you managed to get enough cigarettes to not sound like a little girl anymore.
Hey, that's a good one, asshole. This is the one thing I wish I could give up so bad. I've even bought a book because I seen Nikki Glaser talk about it on Joe Rogan. I was like, let me see if that shit works. I haven't read it. I listened to a lot of it on the audio. I bought both versions for some dumb reason. I was like, no, I need the hard copy. I can't comprehend anything. I can read, but my ADHD is so bad I gotta read the page 10 fucking times. But if I'm listening to it while I'm working, like, since work is just I've got it down. Now, if it was a new job that I was learning, probably couldn't. But since it's just like robotic, I have that in my listening, then I can just, it's like my mind's busy, so.
Everyone learns differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll do that with a lot of podcasts. Like if I'm like either cleaning or doing whatever, playing video games. I'll play video games and just put a podcast on a lot.
I really like Lex Friedman's for that. Just having that, like, he's probably by far one of the best scientific, like he has all these MIT guys, all the fucking big MIT people coming on his shit. Have you seen Lex Friedman on Joe Rogan? He's the guy that's got short black hair, he always wears the suit and tie. And shit, man, this dude, he's a engineer for MIT. And he has other guys come on from MIT and they talk about like the cutting edge of cutting edge. Like right now they just found a new fucking, what is there? There's, what do we have? We have a new matter. They found a new form of quantum matter, like a quantum, like cloud of some sort. And they just like transferred something quicker than the speed of light information through quantum physics and some shit. All that kind of stuff. Half of it I can't understand. But like the 10 or 20% that I do comprehend, I'm mind blown. Because that shit really interests me. That's my main thing in the morning. Like you get up, you go do your dues, and I look at all the science news alerts that are like the astronomy shit and everything that they're finding in space. Like just because.
Okay. So, you believe in a lot of conspiracy theories, I can tell.
Not so much. I just like the stuff that's like kind of revealed as people call it conspiracies. It's like, it was true. That's me.
Just like, yeah. But like, so I don't believe in a lot of conspiracy theories, but I do believe that the moon landing was fake. And people give me shit for this all the time, but I still think that it's not real.
There's a lot of evidence there is a lot of good points that people make about it. The moon alone is very mysterious. Like, if you think about all the statistic facts, for one, our Earth couldn't have grabbed it by its gravitation if it passed, as it being that kind of thing. We caught it and it started orbiting us. No other moon that they've ever observed stays with its planet. Like it always spins. Every moon has some kind of torsion. All the craters are the same depth. Like they may be the same. They may all be different widths. They're all the same depth. It's like it hit something really hard. I don't know why. It's hollow like a bell supposedly because they blew a bunch of TNT up on it and it just rang for like 9 hours.
So you agree? There's no way we landed on the moon.
They don't have the. There's been plenty of people that have said we don't have the technology to get to the moon, and these are people from NASA. They've been on tape saying this, on TV saying it. They say we don't have that. We got rid of that technology. What do you mean we got rid of that technology? the power and the computers you used supposedly to do that mission, we have in our phones times 100 today. Why don't we have that technology? What was that technology? That's the biggest thing of where it's like, what do you mean we can't go back to the moon? And then they always answer with, well, we don't have that technology anymore. How do we digress? Like in this, like it doesn't make sense. And then they misplaced all the footage. They don't have any footage. They supposedly just got rid of the films. Oops.
Very convenient. I'm telling you.
Yeah, this isn't one I've dug into that much. I think we landed on the moon. I think
You're wrong.
Yeah, sure, whatever. But I think so many conspiracy theories just assume a level of competence in the government to be able to like cover everything up and have just nobody who was involved come out and say what happened. Like there's nobody coming out. Like I don't know. I think all these things I feel like just assume so much competence that I'm like, I don't think they're that good at like hiding shit to be able to just.
Well, no, and they're good at. I think they're better at covering it up. They're not good at hiding it, obviously, or they wouldn't be even a conspiracy. It wouldn't be a theory because we wouldn't even have an idea. But somebody either has come out and whistleblown, or somebody has written about it, and it's like that's where then because CIA created conspiracy theorists, like that was their thing. That was an agenda for them to cover. That's a real thing, like, and all the like. These are the things that I get into. Like when you hear about certain things that were created, projects that they did, Walt Disney, and Disney was all part of a CIA thing. Like that, they have signatures in like documents all about it. Those are the ones that I like. Them MK Ultra, the Project Mockingbird, where they're dosing people with LSD, trying to figure out mind control. Yeah, they were just dosing random people. They believe that what's his name? Manson. He was part of the whole LSD fucking mind control MK Ultra program. Joe Rogan just had the author on a few months back, and he couldn't release the book because one of the agents of the CIA was still alive and wouldn't sign for the release. But he passed away, so now there was no conflict. So those are the things that I get into. I can watch like a flat earther one and be like, I can be entertained. I'm not gonna take it seriously. I'm not gonna take a QAnon one seriously. I can be like, man, they did a really good job at this. Like it's entertaining. I can be open-minded to enjoy it. But the ones that I like as far as just the things that have been uncovered, because I'm too dumb to uncover myself or to make a prediction or a theory on some of it. Aliens different because they come out and said it. Nobody wants to admit that. But you go right on to the YouTube and look up all the news channels that reported on it and had the guy from the Pentagon and everything come out and say yes, they are, and where they're actually being spotted in over nuclear silos and stuff like that, and it's becoming a national security threat or something, and that's why they need to disclose. And
when I was 12, I came up with an alien cult, like religion that I thought about. A lot.
What is this? It's not Heaven's Gate, is it?
No, but I knew that you were going to think that. No. No, it was more of like a...
She says Heaven's Fence.
Heaven's doggy door, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so like, I
think
believe...
I've seen a porno name. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's very basic. It's just... They weren't really interactive aliens that much. They were like controlling our lives puppet style. Granted you, I was going through puberty when I was discovering all of this alien religion.
You should have wrote a lot of this down because I mean this is how great this is how great books and movies and shit are created. I think of that all the time when I get like crazy thoughts. I'm like, man, I should have wrote that down, but I don't. Like that's what I've been trying to do more because me and Mike want to do more sketch stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to get in on that, Radcliffe's is trying to do some sketch stuff, but he's real procrastinator. I've gotten him to come over twice. He's like, yeah, man, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna come over this weekend. I was like, all right, I'll see you.
Yeah, I've talked to him a little bit about that. He saw Andrew Gaffney and I. We put out a couple sketches to put together. Yeah.
They're really good.
Thank you.
Not just because I'm fucking
Me, not Andrew.
You know. All right, I gotta say, backdoor shit. Were you at the back door that night for the roast battle?
No, I was not. I worked that night. Yeah.
Oh, you missed out. It might have been best that you didn't.
Yeah.
But then again, if you have, depending on your sense of
I
humor,
heard he did really well.
If you you did you beat him, didn't you?
Quentin, I did not.
You didn't?
No, he won.
I thought he even gave up at the very end.
No, you were way better. We agreed. He shouldn't have won.
It was
We
close.
agreed in a lot of ways. You were better at.
He also, like, I don't know, I thought it was close. I thought I should have won, but people usually, I don't know. It was close, and he had probably had the best last line, so that kind of probably was, yeah, it was close enough for me to not be mad about, and it's also, like, it's not that big a deal.
It also got it out, like, I think getting this shit out in the air and over with, the biggest issue is what other people are going to think. For some reason, no matter what, I don't care what people think, it's you subconsciously, you don't even realize it, that you do. And once it's out there, it's like, well, everyone fucking knows. What can you do about it? You can harp on it or you can move on. It's pretty hard to move on as a kid in high school, though. I see that, and it's like, because high school's brutal. Kids are brutal. Like, some of the things they did to my little niece and my niece, she was picked on quite a bit, and it was like, how do they? She looked so sweet to me. Then I remember being 13 years old in middle school or something. I was like, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Like, I was picked on a lot. I picked on a lot of people a lot. Not like me. I was a wigger. That's why I got picked on. Like, I had cornrows and shit like that.
That term is not okay.
A wigger?
Yeah.
That's what they always called me. My black friends said it was okay to say it, but I never would. I think they were just trying to get me to say it to hit me. I was like, I respect you too much. I'm still not going to. And my dad's black, and he said I'm not allowed to say it, so I'm not saying it. I'm not going to say it. Come on, man, you can say it. I'm not saying it. No, I'm not saying it. Say it. I'm not going to say it.
Hey, can I get some more wine?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Can I get another bottle of water, too? Thank you.
So what do you guys do with your time? When you guys are just hanging out, trying to you just stare off.
Mostly, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, together or just in general?
Just what do you like to do? What is your to get you read? Some people read, some people watch movies, some people fucking
Okay. I mean,
hobbies. I know you play ball and shit.
right. That, yeah. I mean, when I can, I do that. I love watching basketball. I watch a decent amount of sports. I watch a decent amount of basketball, a decent amount of football. I also, I don't know. I like.
Do you bet on them?
No, I've never gotten into betting. Honestly, I love to gamble. I love playing poker. I haven't played poker in a while now, but I love playing Texas Hold'em. I don't like gambling on sports, mostly because, like, I bet, like, I don't go to casinos to gamble. I usually just play home games, or because, like, the first couple times I went to a casino, I lost all my money, and I was like, fuck this. And same with sports betting. First time I bet, like, I bet on the Warriors against the Raptors last year, or 2 seasons ago in the finals, and, like, I bet on the Warriors, and they were gonna win, and then Klay Thompson tore his ACL in, like, the third quarter, and I was like, I was already bummed out to see him get hurt and, like, see the Warriors, everybody just fucking die on that team, to then also lose money on it. I was like, fuck this is dumb.
You should do arbitrage. If you follow sports and you know the teams and everything, you can find apps and different communities out there. These guys, these math whiz, And basically now that sports betting is legal with these apps that you can do, you can find it, and a lot of them give you like a sign up bonus. You can just sign up and they give you a couple $100 for free to put down on a trade. Well, you can mathematically find 2 different bookies basically and bet the same way and always come out on top. Always. Mathematically. They find the faults and they'll find the spread to where there's 2 different bookies that have the spread weighted one way and the other one has it to where as long as you put the money down, you're gonna win.
I never understood gambling or the.
You just gotta be smooth with it. You can't,
Yeah. No, I
Gambling addictions are weird to me. Like, who wants to lose money?
right. Like how into poker I got, like when I first started playing and shit. I'm like, I'm gonna take it slow on gambling. So like I could see myself getting way too into this, and I don't know. Sports betting, like I follow it enough, but like the NBA is not something good to bet on because there's so much randomness with this. Like just who's hitting threes on a given night can totally fuck you. So even though I feel good about the NBA, it's just there's too much randomness. I like watching. I'd rather not be sitting here freaking out if I'm gonna lose money. I'd rather just like throw it on a stock and not look at it as much.
Yeah, see, that's what I've always said. I have a higher percentage. I have a higher win rate on stocks than gambling. But and how you get an addiction to gambling is you go your first time like me. I didn't have an addiction luckily but I went to a table, sat down, played I think the minimum buy-in was like $2, a small table. And I walked away with like $400 in my pocket. And me and my brother-in-law and sister and a lady had a great night. We drank and then we went to another casino. I'm like, okay, we're 400 up. That 400 down. But I could see if I would have went to that next one and left another $400, I would have, because I was still like, let's hit the casino this weekend. After that, and then I started thinking about counting cards. I was like, what if I made an app or had someone design me something that could, a little watch, a smart watch, and some glasses could read the cards and count them for me because I'm not smart enough to count these cards. And the little watch just blinks red or green and tells me to hit or stay. It's possible. I'm telling you, it's possible.
I believe it's possible.
I'm sure somebody's doing it already.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to get my ass beat
Casino jail.
Yeah, I've seen the movies. I don't know. What's the one movie about counting cards? Have you seen it?
21. Yeah, that is a good movie.
Is it Kevin Spacey?
Yeah.
Which he got kind of creepy
What
in
the
the past few years. Wasn't he in
It sucks
trial
because I like
for?
a lot of his movies.
He was in trial for like murder, right? Or something like that. And then some kind of allegations, and then the kid showed up murdered, or dead. And then he did some really creepy, bad Christmas sweater wearing YouTube video just the next day. Like, it was just weird. It was like
all I heard about was the attempted diddling of like that 13-year-old actor or whatever the fuck he was.
Some pedo shit that
Oh, you guys in that queue now. My old lady and one of her best friends, I guess Jules had said something about mask on Facebook, and Jules likes masks. She says she hasn't gotten sick all year, and I was like, cool. And she has to wear it. She did something about him and her friend. They were supposed to hang out tomorrow, and she was like, yeah, I don't think I can have you in my house. I respect your, if you don't like the mask and you're anti-mask, but I don't feel safe with it in my house. She's like, I'm not an anti-masker. She's like, oh, okay, I thought you were a dumbass. And I don't really care. The mask you're there, I wear them because you're asked to. If you go in somewhere, it's a private company. They want you to, they have the right to deny service to anybody. I think that's something that's been lost in American society. People think freedom of speech means they can say anything with no repercussions. Means they can say what they want to their boss, not get fired, and say what they want and not get punched in the fucking mouth for disrespect. There's still repercussions. Yes, you can say it. There's still gonna be something. There may or may not be. And I think social media has been one of the biggest parts of that. Is like you can sit there and talk all this shit.
Well, and that's kind of the cool thing, though, is that people vote with their dollars. Then, so if like people like in businesses that have shitty views, you don't have to censor what they're saying, but people vote for the dollars, and eventually, hopefully, they'll.
Yeah, that's like kind of the Twitter thing. Have you seen that recently? How Uganda has banned Twitter, and they're all their panties are in a huge bunch about it, and it's like, really? As much banning as you've done this week, you're gonna get mad at someone banning you? Like, it's a little hypocritical. Come on, Dorsey. Like, it's freedom of speech should be a. It's like, dude, shut up. But I think a lot of those people should. It's a law. Like, yeah, you have the right to freedom of speech. You can't threaten someone. You make a fucking threat. You can. That's how I think they should run these chat forums and stuff like that, or Twitters and stuff. If you say threatening, if you threaten somebody, like if I said, I'm gonna fucking shoot you, I can go to jail. It's a verbal assault. You know, if I threaten you, I can be. I got a friend that actually was on probation for like 2 years for saying he was gonna get a gun and shoot his old lady or something. They got into a fight, left it on her voicemail like a dumbass. She fucking turned it in, and he got in trouble for it. And that's how they should run these Twitters and stuff. If you make an actual thing, you know, where they can convict you or charge you, then yeah, you can ban them. But I don't know. Then again, they are private companies. So how do you know? But it's also kind of the eroding our society in a way. I think I really think this media shit's fucking killing us. It just pisses people off. That's a big reason. I hate Mike Tobin. It's all Mike Tobin's fault that I have a Facebook. Because I wasn't going to have I didn't have one. I got rid of it years ago because it just was like, I thought it was dumb. I was too active of a person, like, because I'd usually get up really early in the morning to go check waves. And the waves were good in the morning. I'd go surf and everything. And then I'd have to go to work. And I was always in a rush. I didn't have time to look at a Facebook or post or anything like that. I wish I would have. Because if I would have had my profile from when I was a kid, as many followers and friends and everything, I could probably be an influencer and get money.
I will say though, for all the evils of social media, there's certain things that, for example, in this pandemic, like a lot of people got creative with ways to bring fun when people were very depressed in their house, and interacting in that social way is really important. So there's good and bad to social media, definitely. Like, I have a social media addiction. I love validation, and I post a lot of fucking shit.
I like YouTube. I'm a big YouTube. I don't know if that's social media, but I don't really get into the YouTube. I don't get into the comment sections too much here and there. But I won't. I'm not one either on Facebook or anything. I don't go like usually. I make one or two posts. I may reply once or twice, but usually I'm gonna say what I have to say with misspellings, no periods, no capitalizations, nothing. It's just gonna be all one long fucking sentence, and I'll be like, all right, you can reply as much as you want. I'm not gonna look at it. Like I don't care anymore. I've moved on. I can't even remember it. But there's people that can't do that, and they'll hold that, and then they'll be like, oh, there's that motherfucker. He's back on. Let me kick that bitch. And I'm just like, oh, cool. Like, I can literally have an argument or disagreement with someone and they get heated and think we're not cool, and the next day I'll be like, hey, man, you still playing on, man, you want to go ball later? Oh, no, man. Like, get over that dumb shit, dude. Politics, I think, is one of the biggest things, because I've never seen politics as popular as it is today. You know, as far as, like, our politicians being, like, celebrities. They're treated like celebrities too. Like they don't. Like the biggest thing recently, I think I've seen it. The worst was Jimmy Dore trying to force AOC to force the vote for Medicare for All, because she had the power to not allow Nancy to be the House floor speaker, whatever Nancy Pelosi is.
Yeah, Speaker of
If
the House.
if AOC said no, AOC could have demanded her, you bring Medicare for All to the floor, or I'm not voting for you and putting you in that position. And she had that power to do that. And her whole time running and for her candidacy, she ran on Medicare for All and getting new, younger people into positions of power, because she thinks that the old people that have been doing it their whole lives are disconnected from the actual people. Mm-hmm. And what did she do? She came up with a bunch of bullshit lies and excuses of why she didn't have to, why she couldn't do it. Why she couldn't bring Medicare for all when, okay, 15 million people have lost their health care during this pandemic out of the top 12 countries in the world. All 15 million are from America. Okay?
I'm a nurse, I take care of people for a living, I can't afford health insurance.
Yeah, my boss, I think my boss has to provide it with my kind of job. And it's just.
He had to give me antibiotics. I split his antibiotics. We thought we had strep.
Amoxicillin. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like my dog alone, we spend a few $100s a month just on his seizure medication and shit. And it's like, what the fuck? And me, I get so pissed off because I spend $7,000 a year in health insurance, and then my boss, he has to pay for the other half, which is another $7,000. I've been once. They send me a $1,400 bill. It's like, bro, I've been spending $7,000 for how many years? I go once for a fucking rolled ankle, and you're gonna send me a $1,400? Well, you gotta pay your copay. You gotta pay a deductible. And then like, nah, bitch, I've given you like $8,000 that I've never got. I should be good. I should have at least $20,000 in there. You can have 8 as profit. Cover me for the.
That's exactly why I had so many years without car insurance. That thought exactly.
And drove? You drove her up?
Oh, I got like 3 or 4 no insurance.
Yeah, see, that was one of my worst fights in the rest ever. Was a guy hit me, didn't have insurance, and it was my brand new car. It was my first car I'd ever bought, like off the lot, like brand new, financed and everything. And this motherfucker hit it, and he had a decent car. You could tell he had money, and he kind of was cocky about it. Because I was like, all right, it's cool, man. We pay for insurance for a reason. Where's your insurance? He's like, I don't fucking have insurance, man. We'll just deal with it through, it's like. So you're telling me my shit's not gonna get fixed?
But don't you have full coverage?
Now that I gotta pay for it, the whole thing, and my premium goes up. Nah, fuck that. He's getting his ass beat at least. He went home, but he went with he missed 2 teeth. But I did fuck up his knuckle bad. I may have won that battle, but this knuckle got infected and fucked up. I couldn't surf.
I had no accidents when I didn't have insurance.
Yeah, that's a felony charge back home in North Carolina. Yeah, like that and driving, DUI. It's a automatic felony and an automatic 30 days in jail. First offense. It don't matter if your name's Biden, Trump, Obama. You doing 30 fucking days in jail before they hear your trial, because they have the right to hold you for 30 days to the right of habeas corpus or speedy trial, or whatever it is. And yeah, they don't fuck around with that. You do 3 times, life sentence, 25 years.
Right now.
Yeah, because I was. Yeah, Jules had one. And when I first met her, she was giving me that list of what I had done as if I was a felon and I was still going through court and shit like that. And I was like, I'm not sure yet. Give it a couple months. Let me find the results out. If I go back to jail, then you'll know. All right. And she's like, well, I was like, so you've never been to jail? She's like, oh, once I had a DUI. I was like, bitch, you're a felon. She's like, nah. I never had a felony. I was like, yeah, that's a felony. And no, I'm like, where I'm from, that's a felony. You went to jail. You've been to jail longer than me at some time. Her jail picture is bad too. So you could tell she was like cry-eyed, 21-year-old, too much makeup, drunk as piss. But yeah. So do you have any shows coming up?
Yeah, I've got a show next Thursday at Red Flag, Gary Becker's show there.
I'll be there. I'm on that one.
You're on that one too? Hell yeah. Yeah, you can see you, Reggie Edwards, Scott James, Ronaldo's hosting, James Boucher.
James Boucher's going to be there. Yeah, he was at the other one. Yeah, Scott James and Reggie.
Michaela Moore as well.
Michaela Moore, okay. I haven't seen too much of her. I haven't seen her lately at all.
I haven't seen her.
No, I haven't. This is
I think last time I saw her was Silver Ballroom when when she hosted that open mic there.
The worst bomb I've ever had there. And it
Really?
wasn't even a bomb, they just do not like my kind of material in that bitch. Like, that's just too much of a, it's a too different of a crowd. I don't have nothing for them.
You were talking about like people comparing you to other comedians earlier. This I had like it was a positive, but then I was so the guy came up to me and was like, "Yeah, you remind me of Daniel Tosh, but less stupid." And I was like,
Tosh is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love Tosh. I was like, that would be a compliment, but if you think he's stupid, I don't really respect your opinion that much. So it's like, you like me? What am I doing wrong?
Because Daniel Tosh was, I put him up there with the tops, like, because his timing, he's on multiple stand-ups that are fucking, like, on point. And I hope he does more, man, because now that he's lost his show, I think that might actually light the fire back up.
Has he actually lost his show?
Yeah,
I didn't know it officially happened.
Yeah, they didn't renew the show, so.
I'm honestly surprised. It just prints money. It's the cheapest fucking show to produce possible.
Right, it is.
Like it's him in front of a green screen with cracking jokes, and they've got writers, and that's it. That's the entire show.
I think that's why he's taking off so much time too.
Yeah.
He was doing regular hours there for a few years, and I think he got 2 or 3 out, and they were pretty close together, and then he got that show, and it was just, I don't know, but
he's able to not release as much, and people still love him. It's like, why would you put shit on tape if you don't have to? If you're on TV that often, it's like, why you don't need to give people more of you.
Yeah, he also don't do podcasts, I think.
I think I've heard he's like pretty private. He just doesn't want to. Yeah. He's rich enough that he doesn't have to fuck with anybody, so he doesn't.
Yeah,
It's
it's fine. I mean, hey, to each his own. I wish I could get that money like that one day. That fuck you money, you know. But I don't understand comedians that do that really. Like, I really want to see a Eddie Murphy, a Martin Lawrence, a Jamie Foxx. That's who I really want. He's one of my favorites. We were talking about favorites earlier. Jamie Foxx was one of my favorites back as a kiddo. And a lot of people don't know, like, he's got like 4 or 5 specials out. Like, Jamie Foxx, I Might Need Security, but he's got one where he was talking about going to Africa and shit. And like how he's like, they got them serious A's over there. You catch that shit while fucking, just be like, you know, he's like, but then he's talking about LL Cool J because he did that movie Any Given Sunday. And them two guys got into like a scuffle or whatever, and LL's a big dude. But LL was out there playing real football and shit, like tackling him. And Jamie Foxx is like, I'm an actor, motherfucker. Like, you don't hit me. But he did a whole bit about Jamie Foxx, and he did a bit about Mike Tyson. And he's like, where you going, Jamie? I hear you talking shit. So I hit him in the back of the head. He's on the ground. I'm in the car. He don't know what the fuck just happened. Like, he was one of my favorites growing up, and I wish he would just get back at it. Like, he stays with that music scene nowadays, and it's like the comedy was your thing. Like, he's a great musician. He's like one of those triple threats. He can
do it all.
Comedy, sing, like, he's got it all. But the comedy is like that. Why can't he take it though? I hope I never.
I mean, I feel like comedy is so much. You have to do it so much more frequently, and like you have to go work out material, and like sometimes that sucks. If you can go make so much more money, and like I don't know what he likes, but I assume you don't have as much bad shit. I assume acting and doing music.
Remember a script, but you would think with all that time, because anytime I have to kind of take time off. I get little ideas and I just jot down, but eventually my notebook will get those. I keep a little notebook, and I want to get to a point to where I'm kind of performing the same stuff, and I have to take a couple weeks off. You'll see that I don't sign up for nothing for like, it's usually about 2 weeks. And then I come with a whole new 5 minutes. I try, that's my kind of routine, is I get a good solid kind of 5 minutes, and then I try to start over and get a new one with those ideas that I was collecting while doing that. And I'll take 2 weeks off to kind of polish them up and shorten them into one-liners if I can. And if not, they just go into the notebook that storytelling that I'm probably never going to. I'll come back to them. There'll be something there one day, you know. But I try doing the journaling thing. Every now and again I'll get a wild hair on my ass and do it, but it doesn't work for me as well. I do a dictaphone really when I carry a little recorder when I'm like at work in my tool pouches, and and all I need is like 2 or 3 words to remember what I was thinking.
I have to do the voice memo thing on my phone, but it is kind of, sometimes I'll come up with something, but I will be in a hurry, so I'll put like the, most basic, my understanding of that thing in the moment, and then I'll forget what the fuck it was after.
Yeah, like, that's shit. One of my...
Flies, crap, toilet paper.
That's how mine, my sets are. Like, when I write a little piece of paper for my, like, if I'm doing an open mic and something, and I have a lot of jokes. As doing one-liners, kind of have a I guess when you have a story, you know that story, and you know, one-liners, it's just like, write as many fucking jokes, get as many laughs as you can per minute, and for somebody that's abused drugs, this is hard to remember that. It's difficult sometimes. Not always. I eventually I'll get there, but I'm still new at it. Too.
Exactly. That's kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of things I look at. I'm like, I need to do this better. I need to do that better. But I'm also a little over a year in. It's kind of, try to be nice to myself sometimes. But it's okay where I'm doing all right for where I'm at so far.
Yeah, you've been booked for a show, haven't you? Have you made any money?
Yeah, but I've been paid to do a couple of shows.
Did you frame it?
I did not.
I framed mine. I was like, you know what, that's cool.
I should have, honestly, the first...
I signed it and framed it. My old lady fucking put it in a frame and she was like, cool.
The first time I got paid to do a show, I actually spent the money that night. Like, it just went straight, because I just needed cash for something. Literally, I was at Helium, and I wasn't booked for it. I was there for the bucket mic. And then I'm assuming whoever they had booked didn't show up because they just asked me if I wanted to host. And so I got to host. I went fine. I mean, my set bombed, but hosting was fine. But I got paid for that. And then I was just this was only a couple months in, so I was kind of buzzing, didn't really know what the fuck to do with myself. I just went to the fucking Crack Fox. There was a burlesque show or some shit there. I just went there. Drank for a while with all the money.
I've never gone to the Crack Fox. That's the one I haven't gone to.
It's a really fun spot. Yeah. They've got some good open mics. Chris Sears had some good shows out there. I don't know. I also live walking distance from there, so I really like just being. If I can walk somewhere, I'm gonna go there if it's any good.
So I can get really drunk and go just crash at Jason.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's fucking great. What about you? Been booked? Got any shows coming up?
Yes, a show on the 28th at
is it J Street?
J Street Brewing.
J Street Brewing, Elijah's show. Is that one he recording at that one?
I haven't talked to him about it. I feel like somebody might have told me that, but I'm not sure.
He hit me up about coming out to one that he was doing a recording for, but I don't know. I don't have it written down yet. Maybe I did. I don't know. All I've gotten is Red Flag. There should be a good one over at the where Word Up holds theirs.
Yeah,
on the 14th.
Yeah, they've got one the 14th. I'm booking. I haven't actually posted it yet, but I'm booking a show the 14th at Ivory Orange Event Space in South City. Do you know Cody Bear?
Yeah. I've been. He's on the list for the next people I reach out to. Yeah,
so he works for the owner of this event space. He and his girlfriend were able to get that set up. So we got a show coming up there. This will be the second show we've had there. That's gonna be on the 14th. Gonna have John Maddie on it. Gonna have Doreen DeBose. Nicole's doing a spot on there.
Nice.
And Cody's hosting. I'm doing a spot as well.
Yeah, I really like Cody. Like my old lady he was one of her first favorites. Like, you always love going home, driving home after a show. Like, you know that Cody guy? I really like him. Thanks, babe. No, she does. I really like Cody, so I think he got robbed at the.
He did.
He did.
Yeah, you said you got robbed. Somebody said he got robbed in Twins. It's like, no, Cody did. And everybody
Cody got it the worst.
Everybody kind of knew that.
But Quentin gave him, like, somebody gave him money.
Quentin did. Quentin gave us money. It was cool. So, yeah, because Quentin knew that Cody just came very fucking. He was about it. He was excited about it. He wrote a lot, and he wrote really well. And he got robbed.
Yeah, see, I was trying to put the roast off longer because I was in contact with a guy from Chicago, from a guy who hosted a show for Mike, for a guy from Chicago. And he got me in contact with a club owner out there, and he was really interested. So I was like, look, they got the East Coast and the West Coast roast battle. I was like, we haven't, like, the Midwest, we could get in on that. Like, we could do a Midwest comp, like a full, like, so I kind of wanted to make it a bigger thing. And that's my big problem with me is, like, always trying to go too big.
Right.
You know, but, so, like, I sent Mike a message. It's like, this is how we can do it. If we go at this time, if you okay it, I'll start posting. And I sent him dates and everything. Well, he waited like 2 or 3 weeks. And then he posted about it. I was like, yeah, okay. And then posted about it with the same dates I had sent him from 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
So, and I was like, so everybody was supposed to have 2 weeks each round. Not this, like that. And that's when when he started changing stuff up, he like emailed me, hey, what do you think about this? I was like, hey man, you're the owner. Like, this is your thing. The only reason Mike was posting like he was hurting, like, cause COVID and everything.
Right.
And I was like, dude, let's do a roast battle. You know, like I'll put it together. It'll be fun. I'm sure I could do that. I built a few little fucking Facebook like pictures and shit on whatever, and I sent it all over to him. And then it took him a while to approve it, and he kind of jumped in and took it over because I was gonna use the same people he used, but it was gonna be just like the way they do it on Comedy Central. Why try to fix something that works? Use what works.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
But I'm gonna try to do it again, like us.
Yeah.
You know, I want to.
It was the first time
It went really well.
It did go really well.
And I want to kind of keep my name on that. I'm hoping I can and do some more because now I've recently gotten in touch with a guy from Indianapolis as well that he's wanting to do some stuff out here, and he's looking to book some people out there, which he just posted not too long ago on St. Louis or Midwest Comedy or something like that, looking for people from the Midwest to book out there for, Indianapolis if you're interested.
Yeah.
So I seen John contacted him, I did, but I talked to him about that, and so I'm trying to get the Midwest people and put something together like that, and if you could get in on that little competition that they have every year,
Right.
with Jeff Ross and all that, I think that would be a moneymaker.
Definitely. Yeah, that's something to grab onto for sure.
Yeah. So, but nothing else? No, that's all you got. Ivory Orange. Yeah. Do you have a comedy page? Anything y'all want to plug?
I mean, if anybody wants to add me on Facebook, Jason Dormire, I got that.
You need to watch the
on
episode.
Twitter.
You need to watch the episode with Mike Tobin about marketing and marketing yourself.
Yeah, because I know that's something I need to figure out a page.
You gotta learn branding.
That's something, which I'm wanting to produce a lot more shows this year, and that's kind of something I've thought about, like having some kind of name on that, maybe like getting a logo, kind of having a separate page for events I'm producing. Because I'd like to do a lot of those moving forward. It's just kind of.
That's what I did with I had that Bobby's Place one.
Yeah.
But with COVID, it's in St. Louis County. But it's in the same plaza right there where the old Funny Bone used to be in Valley Park. And they have a great stage. They always have a good crowd. And we had like security to help control anybody that's being rowdy. He was gonna let me control the whole room, turn all the TVs off, because it is a sports kind of little place. So you got sports playing, and you don't want that when a comedy club's going on. And I named mine just Underground Comedy, and branded it right then. I seen somebody's got that up recently. I seen like somebody's got a page with that. I was like, I've had that since last year, bitch.
Yeah, it's Underground STL. I don't know much about it. Like, I don't know. I know because I was gonna do a show through them. Another comedian, Sarah St. Louis, booked me on this show. It was gonna be in Soulard, I think at Soulard Athletic Club, and ended up getting canceled because of COVID. But yeah, so I don't know much about them. Like, I'm in a Facebook page for that group, but I really don't know what else. I know they've like got some podcasts or like some shit they put out on Facebook like that. But other than that, I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I seen that recently. I don't really care. I'll change my shit. I don't like that anyway. I mean, now that I haven't been able to use it, but I think it does get more. I think people go from my podcast page, and I think they see that and go to that instead of the Brad's page. I don't know how to do all of it.
Yeah.
I really need a Jamie, like Joe Rogan has. How he's like, Jamie, is that right? Look that up. If I could have somebody here.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody wants to just be behind the scene, call me up. And knows computers. Don't be as dumb as me when it comes to tech, because I'm bad with it. Because I think that's what it really takes. I don't think you can make something like this really take it to the next level without having somebody that really knows it, or you know it yourself. Like,
Yeah.
'cause it's...
Which I went to school for marketing, but I didn't really focus in. Which I took a class in social media, but like it was more focused on like company social media than like personal or like entertainment kind of thing. That's something I'd like to kind of learn more about, because I don't know. I think I've got a decent mind for it. It's something I'm interested in, so I think I could do a better job. I also just don't like social media. I don't like posting on social media, so it's like I know that doing more of this would be better for like comedy wise and like kind of be able to get people out to shows and all that stuff. I also it's like spending more time on social media. I'm already on here way too fucking much. Like
My big thing, I guess, is trying to get. Right now I'm working on like the production end of things, like getting the sound quality down, figured out. Which I wish I had a guy that knew all that.
Right.
But I can do that, and then I want to learn. I'm working on getting some I had 2 other cameras, but they came in and they fucking didn't look good at all. So I sent them back, got my money back, and I'm looking for a better system.
Yeah.
And I found a switcher, the ATEM Blackmagic ATEM or something. It's actual video switcher where I can hook up to 4 cameras. And I can sit here, and if you're talking, there can be one camera on you, and I can switch it while with it all synced up. So, those are the kinds of things, and then kind of build it into a studio. I kind of wanted it. Me and Mike have been talking about, because I've also got the 2-story garage out there. I got a shed over here, and I got 5 acres out here.
You could do a lot with that.
And I'm a carpenter. I get all kinds of free lumber, so I
Right.
can build. And there's nothing I can't build. When it comes to, if it's made out of wood and nails, I can build it.
Yeah.
It's just figuring out all this tech shit. So,
Right.
But supposedly Radcliffe knows a lot about that stuff.
I was gonna say I thought he did. I know he.
That's what he says. I'm still waiting, because I've been writing stuff, like different sketches. I got one sketch I want to do. It's like, parents ever play the lottery when you're a kid and do the what if game? Like, what if we win? What are you gonna buy? Or what would you do with that much money? You guys remember that in the car ride or something like that? What if I want to do something like that, and then go into a rich family, like, what if we were really poor? Would we huddle around the oven to stay warm and stuff? You know? Like that.
I like that a lot.
So that, and then I want to do like one where aliens come to Earth and they're like, yeah, we actually made you. And then we're questioning them like, so why'd you make...
That was my alien cult. We were puppets.
Oh, that's an actual theory.
Yeah.
That's like a in-depth
Yeah, she made it.
no, that goes back thousands of years.
Oh yeah, I know. I did my research. This was Ask Jeeves though. This was not Google Times.
Ancient Sumerians talked about us being made by a supreme being from another planet. And this is the ancient Sumerians are the oldest known civilizations. They're the ones that created writing. They're the first ones that developed to make writing and record history and everything like that. And their story and religion, they have their creation of man story, the Epic of Gilgamesh. Beings from another planet came here to get gold, powdered form of gold, to help re-establish their atmosphere because it was dissipating. And they created us because the gold was so hard to mine out of the mountains and the ground and everything. And and their worker race, the Igigi, revolted and said, "Fuck this shit. It's too hard. It's not in the water like on our planets." No, a lot of people, you hear the story and like, "Oh, that's a nice story." This is the oldest story known to man by the oldest civilization that created writing. They're talking about planets. How the fuck do they know about planets? They were talking about shit that resembled asteroid belts that they would have to pass to get here.
You know what sucks though is that because of Scientology, people are never gonna take this seriously. Scientology ruined it for all the alien fucking religions.
Well, it's actually coming. It's more and more now. Well, the Catholic Church can't keep it locked down. They've kept it really because it is the oldest. No, and you can find pretty much every major religion today. You find where it comes from in this because like you hear they have the flood story. They have Adam and Eve, but it's Atum and Enlil. And that's just it all comes. You can see where it all comes from, and everything. Atom was just the first successful genetically enhanced being that they made because they had made many and tried many, but they kept failing, and then they had to add their genetics to us.
I think they should have killed us all and started over.
And that's the theory why we are so obsessed with gold as well. And people are like, well, it's so rare. It's like, well, we have gold mines being opened every day, and actually many places where governments refuse to allow people to have the permits to mine certain places with gold. Like, so why are we so obsessed with gold? And before that, there was people back in the ancient times. The Egyptians didn't really know how rare it was. They had a shit ton of it. It wasn't that rare. Why were they so obsessed with it? Why does Donald Trump have a gold chitter? Or why are we so obsessed with a metal? It doesn't do nothing for us. It doesn't feed us. I always thought it was like water and fucking Captain Crunch are like the two most important things in milk. Like, but I'll get that from the tit if I got to. Or an almond. I hear you can squeeze those hard enough and get them.
Just gotta flex, man.
Yeah, these little guys right here.
Do almonds have nipples? Because according to Ben Stiller, you can milk anything with nipples. Sorry, I just watched Meet the Parents the other day, and it was on my fucking mind.
Oh, I haven't seen that one in a while.
I watched that with my son, and he was cracking up, and I was like, we're bonding over a really good movie. I used to.
Yeah, I really liked Meet the Parents. I saw Meet the Fockers way more.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much. I liked it though.
It was okay.
Yeah.
There's not many movies that are like.
I think I saw Meet the Fockers first. So that.
Which one came first?
Meet the Parents.
Okay. And that's Robert De Niro. And
Yep.
So I think my favorite bit is chasing Amy with his friend and everything. Where they're playing basketball. So not chasing Amy.
It wasn't chasing
Something
Amy.
About Mary?
Yeah, that was Something About Mary. I'm talking Chasing Amy though, where not Chasing Amy. What is the movie?
You talking about when he was a rabbi?
Something about Polly.
There's Something About Mary.
No, it's not Something About Mary. Something About Mary is
Just
what
keep repeating it, and then
I
we'll say
know
that's
it.
what it was.
It's gotta be where he's
Yeah,
playing
the one where
Jennifer
Favre shows up?
Jennifer Aniston's in it, and he's got the big blonde friend, and they're playing basketball. And the dude's like, "Dude, I think I just fucking sharted. We gotta go. I just fucking sharted." He's like, "What the fuck is a shart?" He's like, "I tried to fart, and a little shit came out with it."
I don't know if I've seen this one. Doesn't help him out.
I think it's just like I thought it was his most like famous one. But he's playing basketball and his buddy's like they have this scene and his buddy's like, "Rain Man," and he misses bricks every time. "Shoot the J," and he just bing, it's bricks every time. And then they're playing in public. They like pick up this game and it's this huge hairy fat guy and they're like, "You guys are skids." And then Ben Stiller gets stuck with that guy and this guy's like playing ball and he's all sweaty and he just goes to block him and it's just his stomach and like he spits out fucking stomach hair and shit. And it's like, that's the funniest movie. I think it's Polly or something like that.
Along Came Polly, that's what it is.
Along Came Polly. Yeah, that's what it is.
I don't think I've seen it.
That's probably I think one of Ben Stiller's greatest. Like it's the thing.
Definitely not one of his greatest, but it was okay.
I think it was. Just the people that were in it. But I mean,
Night
Jennifer.
at the Museum. Pretty good one.
Oh yeah, I like those movies. Yeah. What was the other ones? That were like that museum shit that really blew my mind that I really got into. of course, Indiana Jones when I was a kid.
Yes.
Dude, I would run around saying, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones! Like the little Chinese fucker would do. That was my favorite one in the movie too, the Chinese kid. The good dude from the Goonies, but it wasn't. I think I'm just being racist.
Yeah, that was what to say. That was two separate.
They all look the same to white people. Come on. The only reason I don't look like Jason is because I have blonde dreads. Alright? To black people. That's just how it is.
Are we going to discuss your dreadlocks?
Oh, my dreads? That's more or less because I'm lazy. I just know surfing. Like I said, when I was a kid, when I lived on the beach and I had long hair before it was dreaded. You wake up in the morning, you go surf the salt water, really dry your hair out, and then you just go rinse off underneath the little outdoor shower. Go to work. Hopefully waves are good during lunch. You can go catch a couple more. Once again, it's salt. You don't ever brush it throughout the day, and then it's just like at the end of the day, it's like brushing it out is just like, fuck this, I'm just gonna pass out, go up and go do it again. And then you just like, it's a lot easier just to keep them separate, just to separate them into dreads, and that's kind of how I went with it.
I feel like you're describing a very active period of depression. You're still doing stuff, but you're depressed. Okay, so I grow dreads when I'm sad, and I hadn't brushed my hair in a couple of days, and I always just a little bit of dread, but I still don't think all people should have dreads.
Oh, why?
I think it's cultural appropriation.
I grew up in a black family, and that's definitely not. We grew up with human beings have dreads because the brain is the most important organ in the body, and that is the best self-defense mechanism we've had before we had helmets and everything. So every human before combs had dreads. Even if you had straight Native American hair, you had dreads.
Oh, I totally get that, but the thing is, in present day.
In which culture though? I'm talking a caveman culture now.
No,
maybe that's my culture.
Things change though, things evolve.
But see, I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I'm just a surfer.
No, and it's not. That's not about that. It's not about that.
But what about my culture?
Okay, so
if you go to where I grew up, there's tons of us. There's a weird. I'm a dime a dozen where I'm from. You're gonna see tons of me. And that's a culture, and it's not like half of us don't even like the rap and all that. It's not something on our radar.
The thing is, it's not about what you are not trying to represent. It's more about how, for example, in a job interview, you having dreads, you might get hired more than a black person.
Absolutely not. Actually, opposite. A black person is more accepted with dreads. A black male is more accepted with dreads than a white male. I look like a drug addict I get turned down for many jobs and don't get to sell many jobs because I'm a white dreadhead. But a black guy with dreads, that's normal. It is much more, you see black guys with dreads much more than you do with...
Yeah, and there's a very negative connotation that comes with that a lot of times. And
what negative connotation? Well, that's things that's gonna have to change. People are gonna have to get over that and look past the fact that we're not.
It hasn't though, still, and it sucks, and that's kind of why a lot of people think that white people wearing dreads and not being judged upon it in situations.
I'm still not. I guess I don't get it because I don't look at someone as. I always grew up in. I could never look at color, hair, or anything and just be like, and categorize anybody. I had cornrows, and yeah, that may have been. But it's because all my friends around me had them, and I wanted them because all my friends around me had them. So maybe that is my culture.
No, I totally get that. As sometimes our intention. Impact over intention. What is these things that we think that are harmless or things that
So what harm was I doing last night in Ophir when I think I got 10 different black people got my number and wanted to come and hang out and do mushrooms and...
It's not I'm not saying that every black person has that same view either though.
Well,
but there's a lot of people who do.
I think that looks more into today's woke society, because I look more, if you want to get down to the brass tacks, scientifically it's to protect our heads. And then physically it's because I didn't feel like brushing my hair out, and it was easier to keep it separated.
I mean,
Just by pulling it
I was
apart.
giving you another kind of like.
And my father, my grandmother, my cousins, my brothers, my aunts, they've never once have said anything. Actually, they used to make fun of me when I had the hair, the spiked hair, the goofy front spiked, yeah, I had that for a little while, very, very short little while. And I guess I don't see how it's appropriating it when I grew up in it. I raised in it. I'm not saying that puts me in there, and because it hasn't, I understand white privilege. I know that I have that. I know I can walk down the street in a nice neighborhood at night and not have to worry about the cops showing up and questioning me most of the time. I did also get rid of a lot of white privilege with the choice of dreads, because I can't get pulled over without getting searched. I'm on it. That's an easy ticket. Because if I'm a cop and I pull me over, I'm searching the fucking car. It's like, that's an easy ticket. I know he's got weed on him. But I've never once had anyone come up to me and say that I was a black person. And I have seen the videos. I've seen, people get mad about it. And I don't know. Everyone has their own opinion and their own feelings. And I'm sorry that they feel that way, and I just hope that maybe the people that feel that way see that it has nothing to do with the black or white of things. Most people like me, we're not looking at black or white because we don't give a fuck. You cool? You got good weed? Do you surf? What do? You ball? All right, well, let's go ball. We're people like me aren't even paying attention to that shit. We tend to stay away from that end of the things because we can't. Because if we do get caught up in it, we're probably gonna say some shit that we probably don't mean and don't want to really say, and ruin relationships or potential relationships with good friends. And so those kinds of. I don't look at black and white just because I seen it, and I seen the pain that my mom went through. And I never understood it. I didn't understand why my mom's side of the family wouldn't let my dad come and stay at their houses. Wouldn't let them, when we were coming from out here to there and visit, they wouldn't let him sleep in the house and shit. I never understood that. I was like, what? And I just see people spit in front of him, call my mom an N-lover. I was like, why is this? As a little kid, I didn't understand it. And then growing up, I still had no one's yet to give me a good explanation of why. If some white supremacist or somebody can sit down and tell me why, honestly, a good hard facts, then maybe I can look in there and put myself in their positions and look at it from their point of view. But no one yet today in history has made a good point of why you can judge one man by their color. There's not one. You can't. Because everybody's different.
It should be like that. It should be.
And it's only gonna get that way if we gotta force it. Just like we forced women's rights. We forced, the black people to freedom. That was kind of a little bit more of a gimmick. But if you look into it history-wise, it was fucked up. But besides that, we've made civil movements by force. That's why I've always supported the protest and everything. I went down there. Now when they start screaming that fuck white people shit, I get in the car and leave. But I go down there because I did volunteer fire department for a while. Not like I was a hero. That shit was fun. Which kid didn't want to play with the hose and in some fire and shit and drive the big truck?
My dad was a volunteer fireman. We got to fill our fucking pool up with that shit. It was a good time.
Yeah, so I just went down there. I bought a bunch of little first aids, and I had a bunch of them in the work trailer already. Grabbed a bunch of those and went down there. And nothing really happened. I took a couple shots of Hennessy with some guys, chit-chatted. And but yeah, there's some people did get rowdy, and I was like, yeah, that's my cue. And they're like, yeah, you might want to go, bro. I was like, All right, man. See you later. And that's because those people that were shouting at, I understand they were angry. And I understand there was actually probably a handful of them, a lot of them, that didn't truly feel that way. But there was a couple in there that did feel that way. And maybe one day they'll change. If not, they'll eventually die out. I mean, that's all we can hope for. We see it more and more. The old people die and there's less racism. But there's people like my father. See, I grew up with kind of a racist, my white father, my real father. He's from the South. And now he has past 10 years, come out of the closet, got married to a man. But he wasn't happy that my mom left him and went to a black man. So I heard a lot of racist shit and a lot of, there was a lot of hard feelings to that. And I've seen him and he has changed and he has admitted to changing that. He was wrong, because he's now dealing with it as the gay community fighting, because he was one of the first men to get married as a gay man to another man and fought for that in politics because he's into all that. So it's like, he forced it. He forced Carolina to allow people to, him and that organization. And we're just going to have to force fucking people to deal with it. Like, if not, then they don't have to come up my driveway, And I got a lot of guns if you are coming up that driveway with a lot of bullshit.
It's crazy how so many people nowadays can be like cool with gay people, but like still be racist. It's crazy. Or be gay and be like, it just doesn't like add up to be.
Gay races. You find them in Carolina all over. It's weird.
I don't get it. And I'm always just like, when I meet someone like that, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, that's a good question actually. I had to ask my pops about that one because me and him had this long talk. Me and him now are like Sanford and Son. We've always been pretty friends. Like, we've gotten along really well, and we've always been, especially after he came out of the closet and left my stepmom, super fucking happy. He completely changed him, and you can definitely see. I mean, he was straight at some time. He had like 3 or 4 kids. That's,
Sexuality is fluid, though.
Like gender fluid?
No, like sexuality. Like there's definitely, I think, a spectrum. Like, I think.
Like, like pans and asexual, that kind of stuff?
No, not just that, but there's like.
Because I've been trying to understand.
I don't think anyone is wholly straight. I think there's always a little variance. Like, if you.
I don't know.
If you guys were blindfolded right now.
Absolutely
and
not.
somebody sucked your dick and you knew it was a man.
Couldn't do it. Just not.
I think that.
And I'm cool with it.
There's a 50% chance that one of you is going to lie, so one of you is.
I did a bit.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason. You respond to that one first, Jay.
What I was just gonna say. We're on to hypothetical blindfolded dick sucking.
Finally, he's been waiting all night.
I don't know what time it is, but I'm trying to get some Taco Bell. I think that's a great place to end it. This has been great.
We were just getting started, but okay.
I had a bit about it. I'll just say this about how easily it could have been for me to have been gay. My cousin once picked me up after my first date at the movie theater with a girl. He could see something was wrong with my face. And he could see it all over my face. He asked me what was wrong. I was like, yeah, chick, I got the finger banger. He's like, yeah, what's up with it? He's like, does it all smell like that? He's like, if he would have said yes, could have been gay. But he said, nah, you might have hit the wrong hole. Let me smell them fingers.
All right, so what you gotta do is you gotta cut that tag. Brad Williford could have been gay. That's just a little clip you post for the start of the podcast. That's the standalone post.
That's actually a good spot because then they have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's
I gotta find out, why is Brad Williford almost gay?
I think I've talked about this once or twice before, actually. Everyone's gonna be thinking, he's in the closet. He needs to get out and get new clothes, some room.
He's in the basement. Brad's Basement Podcast.
That's right. Some shit goes down in the basement. No, but thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It was
awesome.
great. It was a great time. Thank you
is.
so much for having us.
Oh, wow. It's 12:30. Yeah, you guys.
I don't have to work in the morning, which is good.
Me neither. Right on, guys.
Damn, that was hot on my ears.
Yeah, you kind of get.